Hey, it's Kyle Shannon with the AI Learning Lab. There is something special going on with the hair today. I look like I've been hanging out with a Tesla coil. So, if you have joined my live, welcome. Uh, I kind of like chatting about AI stuff. I can't seem to keep away from it. It's Sunday night. What is it? 9 o'clock here in Denver. And if you have any questions about AI, jump in, ask any questions. I'll do my best to answer them. If I can't answer them, I'll either make stuff up like ChatGPT, or I'll tell you I don't know. And I'm happy to show things. I'm happy to talk about things. It was a big week. Let me pop up some Everyday AI. This is my newsletter. And what were some of the big stories? OpenAI's code interpreter, I think, was the biggest one. That's why we put it first. Bing.com is now open to everyone. You don't need to be on the wait list anymore. So if you want to use GPT-4, and if you want GPT-4 that's connected to the internet, go to Bing.com, download the Edge browser, and you're off to the races. There's been a tremendous amount of progress in the open source community. Really remarkable stuff. There's a new open source model that can do 65,000 tokens. So, what that means to human beings is you can paste up to 48,000 words into a prompt. So one of the guys put in as the prompt the entire text of The Great Gatsby, and then just said write an epilogue to The Great Gatsby, and it did. So if you've got questions about AI, put them in the chat. Looks like we got a bunch of people here. You're probably not going to hang around. I'm just an old guy sitting around talking about AI crap on a Sunday night. But if you have questions about AI, let me know. So big moves for the OpenAI community. There was also, if you didn't see it, there was a leak from a Google employee. There was an internal Google memo that basically talked about we have no moat. I think I have a link to it here. Hang on, let me see if I can get the focus to go better. Yeah, there we go. Google has no moat. Basically, what they're saying is that the open source community is doing for $100 what it took Google $10 million to do, and what it took OpenAI $5 million to do. They're not the open source models aren't quite there, but they're basically taking really small large language models and fine tuning them in such a way that they're getting essentially similar results as Google's Bard, which is arguably not as good as ChatGPT. But yeah, so that's another thing going on that's just wild. And what else do we have here? There's a cool video search tool. OpenAI, Sam Altman said this week that he thinks they being OpenAI, need to raise $100 billion to get to AGI, which sounds absolutely insane, but they've already raised $10 billion from Microsoft. So they just need another 90. So if you have a spare $90 billion, give Sam Altman a call. It sounds like he could use it. If I want to use ChatGPT 4 without being forced to use Bing, are there alternatives? I'm pretty sure Microsoft is not forcing anyone to use Bing. You can use the Edge browser, which has a little Bing chat button, and it gives you a sidebar that's GPT-4, but it sounds like you think that Microsoft is the evil empire, which I do too, but quite frankly, they've been acting more like a startup in the past 6 months than anyone else. I feel like they're innovating on a level beyond what Apple's doing. Like Apple hasn't innovated since Steve Jobs died, in my opinion. But yes, if you want to use GPT-4 without being forced to use Bing, there's a couple of places. You can go to poe.com. I think they limit it, if you're not doing their paid thing, they limit it to maybe 10 searches a day, or 10 queries a day. If you pay OpenAI, $20 a month for GPT Plus. Then you get access to GPT-4, and I think there's probably some others, but those are the ones that I know about. So feel free to to go pay $20 a month and just use it on OpenAI's site. That's what I do. Like I don't use Bing, not because I think they're the evil empire. I'm actually kind of impressed with them lately. I'm really enjoying the glee that their CEO is taking in fucking with Google. It's really hilarious. It's free with Bing. Yeah, exactly. So if you want it for free, go use Bing. Do you think AI can streamline pen testing, and when will it replace traditional pen testers in the future? Yeah, I think especially when you start to look at things like Auto GPT and Baby AGI. Sorry, I can't get my little my chair's knocking into my little tripod. This is it's hard. Live casting is hard, people. What's the question? Pen testing. Yeah, I think when you look at things like Auto GPT that are using large language models to prompt itself and take actions, that's kind of the perfect thing to do pen testing, right? Do pen testing, on this particular server and just have at it. I have a funny story about pen testing. So we were doing a security audit. I think it was with Pfizer. It's one of the big pharma companies. I forget who it was, but we had this pen tester guy, and he asked for credentials for our server, and he was in India, so the time was all messed up, and so this was like, it just kept happening in 24-hour chunks where we would give him the password, and then 24 hours later we would discover that he couldn't get in, that the password didn't work. And this happened like 3 times in a row. And then we're finally like, well, let's just get on the phone with this guy. Like, what the hell is going on here? And what happened was he would log into the system, and then he would run a script that automatically changed the password or something like that. And then the password we give him wouldn't work anymore. So we told him, don't run that script before you log in. So, you can't make this stuff up. So the guy that was running the pen testing was incompetent. This was for a major pharma company, and we had to figure out why he couldn't log into into our system. It was absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, from my experience, I think AI is going to do better at pen testing. I think it'll be very good for it, actually. And if you're in that world, I mean, I would say dive in, start looking at Auto GPT and all of those autonomous agents. There's probably a dozen of them out there now. All right. So what I do here is I just sort of scroll through the comments kind of from the top down. So if you're adding comments at the bottom, I won't be able to see them for a while. So, and if you think I'm not answering your question, it's just really because I haven't quite scrolled down to it yet. All right. This is the AI. This is the AI Learning Lab. I'm not drunk, I promise. I'm Kyle Shannon. If you want to subscribe to my lives, you can. I don't know why you would, but TikTok told me I can turn that feature on, and I did. So now you can subscribe, and you get special little banners you can do, and I don't know what else you can do. I'm not an influencer, especially with that hair. Best resource to learn more about AI. Well, find people that you trust on YouTube and TikTok. Actually, TikTok seems to be kicking the shit out of LinkedIn in terms of business content for me lately. I'm learning more from. For me, it's kind of TikTok, Twitter, like following people I trust on Twitter, and YouTube are the big 3 where I learn about this stuff. Anyone who's teaching a course in AI, or they're like, I'm an expert in AI and I'll teach you everything you need to know, run like you're on fire from them. Nobody's an expert right now. This stuff is changing so fast. It's crazy. I do this newsletter, Everyday AI, with Greg Mushin, who's an Expedia product guy. So we put out a weekly email that sort of covers all the big stuff, the small stuff, interesting tweets, eye candy, things like that. So that's another good way to do it. There's other good newsletters out there. Rachel Brown's a good TikToker who's really really tight with keeping you up to speed on stuff. She's really good. So I would encourage you to follow her. You can follow me. I try to keep everyone up to date. But this stuff's moving fast, and don't feel like you're behind because this is all very very new. I use Linux, so Edge is not an option. Yeah, so if you were the one that was asking about being forced to use Microsoft, you can go to Bing.com, but I would say just if you don't want to support Microsoft, then just go to OpenAI. I use both Google's and GPT-4. Yep, I do too. Oh, I don't. No, I don't. Sorry, I don't use Google's. I don't use Bard. I haven't found it to be all that useful, and I don't want to use lots and lots of tools. But it doesn't matter if it works for you. That's great. Okay. I'm 73. What do you think is going to happen to society in the next 25 years with AI? Hell, I don't know what's going to happen in the next year. Well, it's funny. So I was on a panel a few weeks ago, and on the panel I said, when I experienced I recognized that the World Wide Web was going to be a really big deal in 1994. Like I discovered this thing, I put an online magazine up, and within 3 weeks of publishing it, there was a full-page article written about this magazine I put up in Paris. So I kind of experienced how big a deal the internet was very early. I had a big epiphany about it. And I think that AI, this is like the next big thing. I feel like this is the second time in my life I've gotten to sit at the precipice of one of these things. And I feel really lucky about that. The difference between then and now is with the web, I could kind of see, okay, geography collapses and time collapses, right? You've got instant access to everything, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world, right? And from that, you could kind of see what the future looked like. You could kind of look 10 years down the road, and there was a really clear picture of it. I don't have that with AI because what these tools do is so profound and is going to so upend everything from knowledge work to creative work to the complexity of work to the complexity of software. All of this stuff is going to be upended, and I can't really look at it. So I said this on a panel I was on, and a friend of mine, my nose is running like crazy. I am not doing coke. If you think I'm doing coke, it's funny. Every time I see someone scratch their nose, I'm like, "There, cokehead." Okay. So I said I couldn't see what the future looked like with this AI stuff, and a buddy of mine reached out, a guy I really respect, and he said he's been thinking about it a lot, and he's got kids that are like 10 and 12 or something like that. He said, I've been trying to think about what I have them study in school, and he said, if I look 5 years out, I can't see it, but I went 30 years out, and he said, here's what I think it's going to be. Here's what I think AI is going to do. He said, the entire world right now is run on incredibly complex systems that some of them are complex by design, like health insurance, certainly in America, is complex by design, right? The more complex they make it, the less you can actually get them to pay you because they make it. There's so many hoops to jump through. Paying your taxes is incredibly complex. Buying a house, buying a car, refinancing your house. Everything is incredibly complicated, and there's whole industries built on them dealing with the complexity. He said, imagine a world 25, 30, 50 years out where all the complexity is gone, where everyone has access to the best accountant in the world. Like right now, all the tax loopholes just go to the rich because the best accountants in the world read all of the really complicated tax codes, and they figure out all of the ways that you can move money around and put things in the Cayman Islands and all that bullshit they do. Well, imagine when you could just have an autonomous agent, an AI agent, do that for you. And I was like, holy shit. I said, that changes everything. Like that would change the tax code because all of a sudden their revenue would plummet because everyone's using the tax loopholes, right? And so they would obviously fix some of those tax loopholes. But I think there's something about that. I think there's something about AI is going to help us remove the complexity of the systems that the entire world's been built on. And it's what I'm really excited about with that vision of the future is that it allows us as humans to kind of return to being human, not being cogs in a machine, but just being human and reconnecting and being self-expressed and all that sort of stuff. So that's a possibility, or it kills us all. It's never a dull moment here at the AI Learning Lab. All right. OpenAI GPT-4 is also available for developers by request. I have requested developer access to GPT-4 for months, and I don't have it. So if you know a secret, let me know. I also don't have access to the browser plugin for ChatGPT. I also don't have access to Code Interpreter. So if anyone is on here from OpenAI, give me access, damn it. I deserve it. It's called the AI Learning Lab. I talk about OpenAI all the time. It's like I'm an Apple fanboy, but for OpenAI. You should give me access to this stuff, right? Tap that screen if you think I should have access to all the goodies, because I'll tell you about them. All right, no one's tapping the screen. Fine, don't tap the screen. Thank you very much. Being able to practically use this shit is the hard part. Being able to practically use this shit is the hard part. Well, yes and no. Okay, so here's been my experience with it. If I just sit down at my computer with ChatGPT in front of me, or even some of these image models, I don't know what to do. It's like I'm staring at the blank screen, right? It's like, because it can do so much, I tend to do like a little parlor trick. Like I'll have it write a poem, or I'll have it explain quantum physics like I'm a 5-year-old. So here's the trick that I found, and I think this can help you, is rather than think about what can I do with ChatGPT, pick a project. And you can make up a project. But pick a project either for yourself or for someone else, ideally for someone else. So maybe it's a community group. Maybe it's your work. Maybe at work, people have been bitching about how the marketing isn't working anymore. You could say, you know what? Can I try an experiment? Can I create a marketing plan for you? I'm learning about all these AI tools, and I've heard that it can write marketing plans. Like, do something for someone else, a specific project. And if you use ChatGPT for a project like that, it totally transforms how quickly you learn what's possible, because you kind of stay focused on solving the problem. And the other thing that shifted it for me is this. Don't think of ChatGPT like a Google search engine where you just type in a thing and then you get back a list of responses and you're kind of done. Think of it more like you've got a creative collaborator, like a partner that you can solve a problem with, and go back and forth with it. So tell it you want a marketing plan, and then it'll write you a shitty marketing plan. And then you're like, oh no, it needs to be way more specific than this. Here's 4 bullet points about my business. And then it'll give you a slightly better marketing plan. You're like, well, but we don't have budget for paid media, so I need a marketing plan. So just go back and forth with it. Do something specific. Pick a thing. It could be do meal planning for your family for a week. It could be, I don't know, organize an event for a community center. Pick an event, do it. That'll help with the practicality of what these tools can do. And then once you sort of crack the nut of, oh, if it can do that for that, maybe it could do this for this. Besides having strict rubrics like college kids have. I don't know what the beginning of that was. Oh, yeah, that was part of the one. I don't quite know what to do with it. Just pick a project and solve it. Yeah. Trying to invent or research all the best prompts and like have the perfect prompt, it's a mess. I can't work like that either. It just feels like gratuitous use of technology. So I'm totally with you on trying to figure out the practicality of it. Okay, sorry, I'm scrolling back to goddamn TikTok in there. This is all my lives is me bitching about the TikTok interface because I'm old I'm old and tired, and I don't like these newfangled multi-layered interfaces. Get off my lawn, you kids. Get off my lawn! All right. Let's see. Hold, please. I'm getting hearts. I assume that means you're liking me losing my fucking mind. Oh my God. I don't know if I've told you this. I'm nuts. Okay, so I got back to this. Best AI way to revamp a resume for a different industry. This is so cool. So copy your resume. Also copy your LinkedIn profile. Then copy a job posting for whatever industry you want to go in. And so here, I'll show you. All right, so I'll go 3.5. So, because even if you don't have access to GPT-4. So let me go to my LinkedIn profile. And hold on, hold please. And so I'm just going to copy just a big pile of crap from my LinkedIn profile. And then I'm going to go back to ChatGPT. I'm going to say, okay, based on this LinkedIn profile, and then I'm hitting shift return twice, and I'm pasting in just whatever I copied out of LinkedIn. And let me see, what else can I put in there? Do I have a bio somewhere? Let me see if I can find a bio. Hold, please. Where is my Gmail? Come on. Uh-oh. I think Microsoft Edge, its memory has gone away. All right. Let's go Kyle bio. See if I can find one here. Did I give a bio here? Yeah, all right. This is a crappy one, but whatever. Okay, so here's a bio. Copy. So go back to ChatGPT. So I said, based on this LinkedIn profile, and then I pasted it. Now I'm going to say, and this bio about AI, and I'm going to paste that. Write a resume for Kyle that positions his experiences for a job in the gas and oil industry, which I would never get hired for the gas and oil industry. All right, so it read all that crap, and it is now, I think, writing something. So it says, resume for Kyle Shannon. My objective is to apply my diverse skills and experiences in digital marketing, storytelling, innovation, and leadership to contribute to the success of a gas and oil company. So it grabbed my Storyvine experience, my agency.com experience. So those are the two, big kind of sort of successful businesses that I've had. Then it grabs some of my AI stuff. Grabs my education and grabs my skills. So you can just use it to just give it a bunch of raw materials and then tell it to rewrite it. And if you don't like what it wrote for you, just tell it sucked and give you other stuff. It really is quite remarkable. Using these tools, I've said this before on this channel, that I think it was Arthur C. Clarke said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. This shit's magic. All right. I love hearing you talk about this. Cool. I'm glad this helps and makes sense. Tree grown or Negro? I have no idea what you're talking about. When do I think Google and Microsoft will release their suite of AI integrated apps? I think Microsoft will do it before Google will. I think Google is scrambling to catch up. I think they have screwed themselves. they invented this shit. They invented the core technology that sits beneath all these, all the toys we're playing with today. And then they kind of kept it behind the firewall because I think they knew that it would threaten their business model. So they are playing catch up. And the CEO of Microsoft is taking particular glee in fucking with Google. So I think as soon as they have something that's solid, they're gonna release it. So I would think that Microsoft is coming sooner than Google, but they're both coming. I don't know. My guess would be probably within 3 months, but maybe by the end of the year. I don't know. I mean, the Office 365 suite is an incredibly complicated series of applications that have lots and lots of features. So it's not just like sort of slapping on a GPT window on top of Microsoft Word, right? Like some of the demos they showed were like, take this earning report that is in Microsoft Word and write a presentation about that. And so they're having to integrate it across the suite, and they're probably incorporating it with Outlook emails, and they're probably incorporating it with their CRM, Dynamics 365. So it's probably pretty complicated. But what I've seen from how they integrated GPT-4 into Bing and Edge is very well thought out. Even the early stuff was quite well thought out. So it's coming soon. I'm actually quite excited about it. Is it a good time to jump into ML? What type of work should one get into in ML? Yes, I think it's not only a good time to get into ML. I think it's quite important. Like why I do this channel is that I think it's imperative that anyone who's doing any kind of work with computers in any way, any kind of knowledge work, any kind of creative work, the amount of disruption that's coming, thank you for that. The amount of disruption that's coming is massive. And I think that the people that learn it now are going to have big opportunity. And those that don't are kind of going to get blindsided. What type of work should you get into? I would say, what are you good at? I think the skills moving forward are going to be things like those that are good at curating big ideas, strategy, thinking horizontally, like T-shaped skills. Someone said to me yesterday, which I forgot about that term, but so the sort of vertical part of a T is like a vertical skill, like copywriting or illustration or programming, engineering. The horizontal thing is if you accept that these tools are going to make it very, very easy to do the executional part of all the vertical things, then what we need is people that can, operate across the horizontal part of the T. So avoid being a virtuoso that's only good at one thing and think more like being a conductor of the symphony. So learn as much as you can. Take what skills you're good at. If you're really good at project management, figure out how to do kick-ass project management with ML. If you're really good at creative, figure out all the tools that, amplify your creativity. So I would say take the core thing of what you enjoy and what you're good at. Hopefully those things are decently aligned. And then that's where I would focus on the ML stuff. I am an influencer. I got to get a pink stripe in my hair to truly be an influencer. Or twerk. I will not twerk. You're welcome. I'm an expert on AI. Ask me anything. I assume that's a troll for me saying I shouldn't be answering questions on AI. I'm not an expert. I'm just learning and sharing what I learn along the way. So feel free to troll. I don't give a shit. I have a question. Can government stop it from being super cool? Government can stop everything from being super cool. Government doesn't understand how Wi-Fi fucking works. So I'm a little terrified about government getting their hands on AI. Here's the thing. I think the thing that would have kept all of this stuff from being cool is if it had gone the way it was going, which was Google invented it, kept it behind the firewall. Meta was keeping it behind the firewall. All these companies were kind of keeping this AI stuff behind the firewall. It was sort of living in the AI and machine learning is for the data scientists and for big corporations. And then OpenAI said, we're going to put this out there. And Midjourney started doing this with images, and Stable Diffusion started open sourcing their images. And then ChatGPT caught fire. November 30th, 2022 is the date that was launched. I think that will be the day that goes down in infamy for AI, because within 6 weeks, 100 million people were using ChatGPT. I don't even know what the numbers are now, but I would assume it's 200 or 300 million. It's insane. So because of that, because of the success of ChatGPT and the fact that Microsoft, got this sort of, glow of being ahead of the curve with this ChatGPT stuff, it forced Google out of the shadows to say, oh, we've got AI too, right? Then it forced Meta out of the shadows. Apple's coming next. And then these tools like Meta's large language models leaked, right? And then the open source community pounced on those. And now there's a number of open source large language models. Stability just released one. So now that this stuff is proliferating, and the entire development community and the entire investment community, everyone is putting focus on this, I don't think any single entity is going to be able to rein it in anymore. I think they could have 6 months ago, but ChatGPT changed everything, in my opinion. How are you associated in AI? Good question. I have a degree in acting. I just I love I love figuring out whatever's the new thing, and always have. And I did it in 1994 when I kind of stumbled upon this thing called the World Wide Web, and I started one of the first online magazines and one of the first digital agencies, a company called agency.com. And built a lot of the first websites for the Fortune 500. Like we built British Airways website, we built their ticketing system. So it was wild times. So I thought that would be the last time in my life that I would see anything that was a technological revolution that was going to change the game. You could argue maybe that the iPhone was one of those, but I kind of see the iPhone as just kind of an extension of, it's computers just got smaller, and you're still kind of using the internet on phones, right? But it wasn't necessarily as big a shift as the popular internet was, the World Wide Web. And then I stumbled upon AI. So I spent about 6 months just playing with images. I was using an NFT project called PixelMind to make Stable Diffusion images and mint those into NFTs. And then I decided to geek out a little bit and install Stable Diffusion, and that's the where I just made thousands and thousands of images. I uploaded images of me into Dream Booth, and then made all these kind of crazy images of myself, and I put together an art project for that. And then kind of in the middle of doing that art project, ChatGPT came out. And I had an epiphany. My epiphany with ChatGPT was I was just watching TV with my wife one night. This is like 3 weeks after it came out, and I thought, I saw TikTok videos that you can do coding on. It'll do coding. And so I said, well, I've heard Python's a cool language. So I said, hey, ChatGPT, write me a Python code or Python script to take an input or do something like that. And it did. And then I realized I don't know how to run Python. I haven't done programming in decades. And so I said, hey, ChatGPT, I don't know how to run Python. It said, if you're on a Mac, open your terminal and type in this command line. And I'm like, I don't want to do command line. Is there a website I can just, paste some code and have it run? It said, sure, here's the 3 websites. And so I picked one. And it said, paste the code in the left-hand window, hit the run button. So I did that, and it gave me an error. And so I copied and pasted the error, and I put it in, and it told me, you don't have this library installed. And it told me how to install the library, and then I got the thing running. Within 90 minutes, I had written a fully functional Python application that asked someone about a topic and asked a few questions about it, and then wrote 5 pieces of social media content using the OpenAI API. Within 90 minutes. Never written a line of Python in my life. Still haven't written a line of Python in my life. And so I had this epiphany, and I just had this other moment of, holy shit, the world just changed and no one knows it. And I started the AI salon. So I have a bi-weekly salon where we meet. We have a Discord server. I started this TikTok channel. I started the Everyday AI newsletter with my friend Greg Mushin. I just went all in. I went, full ADHD, hyper focus, just fucking dove in it for, well, I haven't stopped, right? Like I started kind of second week of December, something like that. And I just haven't stopped. And I'm unsufferable right now. It's all I talk about. People can't talk to me. And yeah, that's how I got into it. But I'm like rolling AI into my business. I've completely rethought what my business product is. My company's called Storyvine. It's a automated video storytelling platform. I've got a whole new vision for that. That's really exciting. So that's how I'm associated. I just get curious about shit, and I think this is the next big thing. I think AI is significantly more profound than the World Wide Web was. I think it's happening way faster. Well, and here's a point. The World Wide Web took 8 years to get from 0 to 100 million users. ChatGPT took 6 weeks. So this is coming fast, and the sophistication and the power of these tools is like nothing we've ever seen. This is industrial revolution level, printing press level change, and it's coming fast. Possible to change the camera angle so we don't have to look up your nose. Well, I could. I'd have to put my computer higher, but yeah, you get to see my neck and my boogers. Tough shit. Sorry. I'll improve my when I film my static videos. I film those at like a 45-degree angle up to the ceiling, so you don't have to see up my nose. But I'll fix it at some point. But sorry, I'm just gonna have to deal with my bad production values. AI is a very Star Trek vibe about it. Yeah, I said this last night. I feel like we're moving into this post sci-fi world where almost everything in sci-fi is now starting to happen. Like time travel is the only one that's not quite there, but all the other shit's happening. It's like, Jesus. Can technical intelligence control blockchain? Well, yeah, I mean, you'll be able to create contracts and things like that. And with things like AutoGPT, you'll be able to, execute things on the blockchain. But I think that blockchain is actually going to become very, very important for because of AI. I think AI is going to drive Web3 adoption because we're quickly moving. I don't know if you've seen there's a 2024 political ad about Biden and Kamala Harris that's fully AI generated, and there's nothing special about the ad particularly. It's just kind of a run of the mill attack ad, but it's all generated with this AI stuff. But we're coming into a world where the ease with which we're going to be able to generate content and misinformation, I think, is going to lead to a backlash to be able to verify the authenticity of something. So if I can say, yeah, this definitely came from CNN, this piece hasn't been altered in any way, blockchain's a perfect way to verify that stuff. So I think blockchain and NFTs and all that technology is going to quickly become a tool that creates some level of authenticity that I think we're going to need. And I think it's going to get really ugly I think this election cycle is just going to be a flipping disaster. So we'll see. So I think it could actually drive the adoption of blockchain. Also, the other thing AI does for blockchain and NFTs is the world building stuff. So creating all the metaverse stuff. Right now, you have to hire rooms and rooms of people to do all the 3D modeling, and you have to pick a look and feel, and you kind of have to lock that shit down. We're quickly moving into a world where you just ask for a world and it will be generated on your behalf, and then you enter it, right? So I think all sorts of cool things are going to happen between Web3 and AI. Isn't AI just a database? It only knows what it is told. Well, yeah. I mean, technically, it's a database. It's a database of embeddings. It's a vector database. So, but it's a vector database that's kind of been trained on all the words, right? Like at least all the words of the public internet. And as these things get more and more sophisticated, it's going to just kind of be all the words. So I kind of think of it like this. I think of AI more like AI is a reflection of humanity, where it kind of learns all of the words and their semantic relationships. And then when you start interacting with it, it's pulling those semantic relationships, not unlike how a brain does. Like a lot of these AI tools, are based on neural networks, which are based on biology. They're based on how our brains work. So what it's actually doing, if you look at how these things actually work, it's predicting the next word that is the most likely response to the big prompt that you gave it. And it's doing that over and over and over again. And someone told me yesterday that it's doing it on phrases now. But it's not copying and pasting crap out of the database. It's because it knows the semantic meaning of all these words, it's actually composing original content based on what you ask it. So it's not just a parrot. I think that's one of the misconceptions. So AI will destroy the world. I think it's easy to go there. That's what Hollywood has taught us. Surveillance will be out of control. I do agree with that. Surveillance will be out of control. And I don't think it'll just be Big Brother. I think it'll be all of us. By the way, on the privacy thing with AI, we already gave up our privacy 20 years ago. We gave it to Google and Facebook. You know that old adage, if the product is free, you're the product. Do I think AI will launch nuclear weapons? I hope to God they have controls in place that computers can't just launch that shit. I'm pretty sure they do. I'm concerned about surveillance. Close your window. I just applied for a job at OpenAI. Cool. I gave a speech to Creative Mornings 2 weeks ago, and this woman came up at the end. She goes, I train models at OpenAI. I was like, that's the coolest thing. It's like it's the hip company to work for. I applied for Code Interpreter multiple times too. I know. Give me access to Code Interpreter. I'm an influencer, man. I want to talk about your tool. What are your thoughts about Rewind AI? I don't know it. Let's go look at it. Rewind. I assume it's a video thing. Wind.ai. Is that it? What if you had perfect memory? Ask Rewind about anything. Yeah. So I think this kind of stuff's cool. So what this is I assume you kind of aim it at your social media or you aim it at your email or something like that. So what this thing's doing is it's taking all of your personal data, it's throwing it in an embedding database into a vector database after embedding it. And then it's basically making it like ChatGPT searchable. So you can essentially interact with your digital footprint, just like you interact with ChatGPT. I think these kind of things are brilliant. Apple has their developer conference is in June, and they've got big announcements coming there. I think their AR, VR goggles are coming out. I have a sneaking suspicion, and I've heard Robert Scoble said a little things about it, that they're going to be doing something with AI. I think Apple could be really good at agents. So AI that take actions on your behalf, and things that exploit your data, because their data privacy stuff is really good. I think Apple could be really good at this stuff. So I haven't played with Rewind, but thanks for popping that up. I'll go play with that, because this idea of being able to mine our own data, whether it's business data or personal data, is going to be like a flippin' superpower, right? Imagine being able to say, I know I said in email at some point in the last decade something about X, Y, or Z. And you know how you spend like 4 hours trying to find that, and the next 2 weeks trying to obsess about where did I say it? Who did I say it to? Did I put it in a Word doc? Where is it? Imagine just being able to go, did I ever say this? Boom. Yes, here it is. Like that kind of stuff's coming. So I'm pretty excited about this. Any alternatives to Code Interpreter while we wait? Yeah, you could play with LangChain. It's not exactly the same thing, but LangChain allows you to kind of point these tools at, say a directory of your data, a directory of, spreadsheets or other kinds of data. And then you embed them and you put them in a vector database like Pinecone, and then you can search on them. So I think Code Interpreter is just a fancier version of that, kind of in the form of a plugin. But LangChain is probably the tool that you could use in the meantime. And there's decent videos on it. It's still, you have to be a little geeky to be able to do it, but have ChatGPT teach you how to do it. How long have I been in the AI business? Am I in the AI business? Yeah, sort of, I guess. I mean, I'm not really making money on AI, but I've been curious about AI for about a year. I've been obsessed with generative AI for about 6 months, and I've been insufferable talking like this about AI for about 4 months. So 4 or 5 months. Pretty new. And here's an important thing. I get asked a couple of times on these lives, like, am I in machine learning, or, am I somehow involved in the model generation side of this business? I'm not. So this to me is where there's another parallel to the early days of the web, where the internet had been around for decades, and the people that created the internet and most of the users of the internet early on were scientists and researchers and things like that. The World Wide Web comes along, and it was a tool that gave access to creatives and business people and just basically anyone access to this really powerful thing called the internet. ChatGPT and these image generation models and now all these other tools are the same thing. So I would say that I represent sort of a new class of AI, super user, which is not I'm powerful on the model generation and training side. I'm more powerful on, now that these models have been generated and trained and we have access to them, how can we use those in our business, in our lives, things like that. So it's more about the application of these tools rather than the creation of these tools. I think that's a massive shift we're right in the middle of. Which AI platform should I use? If you're just getting started, ChatGPT is the big one, and I think it's also worth generating images. Just experience what it's like to write words of like a penguin in a pickup truck driving over a cliff, and watch this thing generate that for you. That experience is like magic, right? So just start with ChatGPT, start with image generation. And then the other thing is this. Don't just sit in front of them wondering what to do. Pick a project and do that project using ChatGPT. Like, learn ChatGPT by solving a problem for someone else. It'll totally transform how you think about it. What are your thoughts on Bard? My thoughts on Bard are that it's not as good as ChatGPT. I heard it's getting better at coding. I think Google is a company full of engineers. They're not as good at the human empathy stuff. So I think that ChatGPT has got a real leg up on that. I think that's something Google's going to struggle with. But I also think that Google's got, a gazillion dollars and a gazillion smart people, and they can figure this shit out. So I think they're going to get better really quick. But there was a memo that leaked 2 days ago from a Google employee that they feel that these open source large language models are getting good enough, fast enough, that they don't think that Google or OpenAI or anyone can really maintain sort of technical dominance on the large language model side. So I think large language models are just going to become ubiquitous like the internet. They're going to be everywhere, and they're going to all be good. So I think Bard's behind the 8 ball, and you can use it. I just haven't used it because ChatGPT is so good. All right, I just lost my place again. Dang it, TikTok. Somebody should know someone. I don't know what happens. It's like when I start scrolling, it like updates the last thing and it jumps me all the way to the bottom, and I got to scroll back up. If anyone knows how to use this app, let me know. Like the guy that doesn't want to look up my nostrils. What app am I using to show my screen? It's just TikTok. When you go live, there's a dual, I forget what it's called, like dual camera. So that's just my back camera. And then which ChatGPT platform are you using? Just chat.openai.com. You don't need to use anything else other than that, but I will give you this. Trying to get it to focus. Hold, please. God damn it. This is like the watch Kyle try to get his technology work channel. these four things are what I would use. So one of the things that just burns my engines, I couldn't think of the phrase, so that's wrong. One of the things that pisses me off is there's so many apps out there that are trying to exploit people searching for ChatGPT. So it's not an app. It's not an app on the Apple Store. It's not an app on Google Play. ChatGPT exists at chat.openai.com. So just point your browser, whether you're on a phone or a web browser on your desktop. Chat.openai.com is ChatGPT. If you want to use ChatGPT 4, you can pay them $20 a month. You can also use the OpenAI Playground. That's platform.openai.com/playground. That's sort of the more geeky version. That's the engine that sits under the hood of ChatGPT. But Bing this week went live. So there's no more wait list for Bing. So if you go to bing.com, you're actually using GPT-4 that's connected to the internet. It's a little bit neutered because they got in trouble with the New York Times, so it's getting better and better. So it's not quite as good as the OpenAI Chat GPT-4, but it's free. And you can also download the Edge browser, and that's got it in there. And then finally, Poe.com, Poe.com. They do have an app as well, Poe and Poe on the two app stores. What's cool about Poe is you can use ChatGPT 3.5, ChatGPT 4. You can also use Anthropic's Claude and the new Claude Plus, which I think is Anthropic's kind of GPT-4 kind of competitor. So Poe.com is really cool. You can also make your own bots with Poe.com. So hope that helps. Sorry, I'm trying to find my way again. Just purchased an auto renewal subscription. AutoGPT seems to create endless tasks for a simple goal. What am I doing wrong? That's good. What's a good use case? Okay, so if you don't know what AutoGPT is, it's part of a thing that are called autonomous agents, and they are what they sound like. They are tools that just auto prompt themselves and then use tools like searching Google and using large language models to prompt themselves. Here's the thing about AutoGPT. It is brand new. It's maybe 6 weeks old. I think it's 5.5 weeks old, maybe 6 weeks old. It is really janky. Janky is a technical term for it sucks. It's shitty software. It will very often get in these recursive loops where it just keeps running and running and it can't do anything. It's overcomplicated. So I would say give it really simple tasks, but I don't know. I mean, I think the interesting thing to do with AutoGPT right now is kind of play with it enough to understand how it works and see if you can get it to do things in any kind of predictable way. But don't take it too seriously. Unless you're a real developer and you really want to develop something around the tool or do a specific version of it, then you can play with it. But if you're just kind of dicking around with it, I'd say just keep playing with it. If you want to play with AutoGPT and you're not a developer, you can go to, I think it's Agent GPT, agentgpt.com. Probably not. Nope. God damn it. Hang on. Agent GPT. Gotta go. God damn it. Agent GPT. Okay. It's agentgpt.reworked without the E. So reworkd.ai. So Agent GPT. So what you do with these agents is you give them a goal. Like here, let me do one now. I'll do Storyvine's my company. Storyvine Agent, we'll call this thing. We'll see if it works. It's kind of cool when you watch them do what they do. The goal is going to be find the marketing taglines of the top 10 competitors to Storyvine. So I got this to work once and it was pretty slick, and then I got it to not work like 10 times. So what happens is, so with these auto agents, you just give them a goal, like go find all this stuff, And then you say deploy agent. Oh, I've got to sign in. Hold, please. Oh, do I have to retype this crap? God damn it. See, it's early software. I told you it's all crappy right now. Storyvine agent or agnet, that's fine. Please find the marketing taglines for the top 10 competitors to Storyvine. With a typo. And then I hit deploy agent. And so now it says thinking. And it says added task. Search for the top 10 competitors of Storyvine in the market. Added task. Analyze the marketing taglines from Storyvine's competitors. Then it says completing. Search for the top ones. So it says Storyvine. Some of the top competitors include Vidyard, yes, Wistia, Brightcove. Brightcove's not a competitor. Panopto, Vimeo, Kaltura, Sprout Video, Hippo Video, BombBomb, and Dub. So about half of those are competitors. Half of those I would consider, complementary platforms. And then it says completed. Analyze the marketing taglines of each competitor. Understood. My task is to go find them. So it's giving itself tasks. Let's see. Has it found anything? Then it gave itself more tasks. My task. So it's still trying to find taglines. Now it's giving itself more tasks, and it says, "We're sorry, because this is a demo. We cannot have our agents running for too long." So this one basically failed. But that's how they work, and they're pretty slick. I mean, they're pretty slick conceptually, right? It's a very cool idea. Because they're so new, and because it's actually expensive. Like some people have gotten in a decent amount of financial trouble because they sort of turn these things on and they just go run a bunch of really expensive queries to all these APIs, and they run their bills up really quick because this thing's just executing in the background. So you can get in trouble with them. But I would say just go play with them, unless you're a developer. And in that case, go to some of the GitHub repositories and make them suck less. Would be nice. Let's get another picture here. Oh, here I got a mob version of me. This is a good one. GPT can also write resume for you and edit it with all your info. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Oh, the other thing that you can do, the other thing that GPT is really good at is if you give it examples. So if you go find, there's all these courses on how to write a resume, right? And some of them say, here's the perfect structure of a resume. You can copy and paste a resume that you like the structure of and say, based on this resume, rewrite this resume and then paste your resume in to match the structure of the one above, and it'll reformat it like the one that you liked and fill in all the gaps, and pretty remarkable. Someone got a #1 gifter badge. Good for you. You can use my platform to get your own badges. Thank you for sending me love. I appreciate it. Hello, please. What app are you using to show your screen? I already said that. It's just the TikTok dual camera app when you go live. How would you go about a business plan? I did that. I actually wrote a proposal today for a big client to do. So I'm starting to do a lot more workshops on AI for companies. So if you want to do that, let me know. And so I took some ideas that we had for the workshop. I took some results of a survey that we got. I took some timing that we talked about. And then I took basic sort of pricing ideas, and I literally just pasted a bunch of those into ChatGPT. And then I said, write me a proposal with a lovely intro for this thing. And it knocked it out. And kind of within 5 iterations, I had a proposal that was as good as anything I would have written within about 5 iterations. So I do the same thing with a business plan. what you can do with a business plan, depending on what you're trying to do with the business. If it's a small business, that's one thing. If you're trying to get venture capital, that's another thing. If you're trying to, modify an existing business, that's another thing. But I would have GPT act as a venture capitalist or as a business coach or a business consultant. And if there's a particular kind of approach to business that you like tell it what kind of business you're in and tell it that you want a business plan that takes into account whatever the realities are. I'm not very well funded, or I am very well funded, or, I've been in business for 5 years and I want to completely, make a pivot. And so I need to write a new business plan based on that. So give it lots of context. It's one of the things that it responds well to is complicated prompts. It does really well with complicated prompts. So if you kind of talk to it like, if you sat down with a business consultant, the first thing you would do is you'd spend the first hour kind of telling that person your story, right? Think of it the same way. Kind of tell it your story, tell it what you want, tell it what its role is. So your role is to be this business consultant, and my role is I'm running this business and want to do a business plan, and it will knock it out for you. Pretty cool stuff. What's the best ChatGPT app? Just ChatGPT, no app. You can use Poe.com because you can use different models there, but no app. You can use Poe.com because you can use different models there, but I wouldn't pay for anything unless you're going to pay for it. Just go to chat.openai.com. That's the best ChatGPT app, period, hands down, for now. It may change. When it does, I'll tell you. Pay attention to Build Conference. They will talk a lot about AI copilots for Dynamics 365. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Microsoft going all in on incorporating these large language models throughout their portfolio, from GitHub to Office 365 to Dynamics to Azure, I think it's brilliant. And they're doing it well. Can the AIs talk to each other? They'll be able to, and those auto GPT tools are connecting multiple tools together, and they are talking to each other. So that's what those things are doing. What is ML? ML stands for machine learning, which is basically, we're calling all this stuff AI, but it's really ML. It's really machine learning, and it's just basically the act of getting these machines to learn like humans do. It has been the goal. AI is easier. People know sort of what that means. They've at least heard it in a movie. New here, what's ML? Oh, machine learning. Oh, I've got 3 people that just asked that, including Unicorn Farts. That's a fun name. Wait, why are there 4 people talking about what's ML? I guess there was either I mentioned it or someone asked about it and I didn't explain it. Machine learning. So sorry about that. If I try not to use acronyms. What if they gave all the NPCs in GTA their own AI personality? So I assume you know this, but if you don't, go look for this paper. Go look for, what is it? Generative agents? Is that what it's called? God damn it. Generative agents. Is that what it's called? Hold, please. NPC agents. LLM. Okay, here it is. Okay. So, what's the paper called? Yeah, generative agents. Okay. So this is an Ars Technica article, but so that's what this paper is about. So what this paper is about. So you have this kind of sim life kind of game here, and it's got 25 NPCs, but these NPCs all use ChatGPT to talk to one another, and they have memory. and they're like assigned jobs. So like the artist wakes up and makes themselves breakfast, and then they go do art, and the farmer wakes up and they make themselves breakfast, and then they go farm, and they all kind of walk around this town, and when they encounter one another, they actually have a conversation, and it's not pre-programmed like all NPCs are. It's a generative conversation where they're using ChatGPT to talk to one another, and they remember shit. They like walk around acting like humans. So one of the examples they talk about in this paper is um, one of the agents finds out it's the other one's birthday and plans a birthday party for it, and like tells the other agents they're having a birthday party. So they start planning this birthday party. So they remember from day to day what they did in the previous days. So this paper's out there, and I think this idea of these agents that kind of have these lives of their own is really, really interesting. And I, again, this is something I think Apple's going to be really good at. I can imagine that we will have different kinds of agents that represent us, right? So I might have one that is like my entertainment agent, and I want them to go out and just find good music for me based on the music that I like and what I listen to. And just if it finds a cool, local concert that's free or fits within my budget, it just buys me the tickets and it checks my calendar. And then I might have a legal agent that goes off and does legal stuff for me. And I might have a dating agent that goes off and does all that kind of stuff. I'm married. So, so this idea of these agents kind of taking on these autonomous lives of their own, I think it's going to transform the game industry, but I think way beyond just gaming application for these things. How do I think AI will affect sales professionals? I think every single profession is going to be upended and transformed. I think sales is a huge one. So right now, using 11 labs, you can synthesize your voice, and it's pretty close to what you sound like. And probably within a year, it will be indistinguishable from what you sound like. Also within a year, the speed with which that agent that uses your voice will be able to have a real-time conversation where there's not a noticeable lag, that'll all probably be gone. So I think outbound sales is going to go fully to automated AI, synthesized AI, and it could sound like you. So all of your outbound sales calls could go like that. I think how you research companies, how you personalize emails. I'm already starting to get way more personalized emails than I've ever gotten before because of AI. I think that's going to get way insane. I think everything about it. So if you're in sales, I would dig deep into just pop open ChatGPT and have it start doing research for you, have it start writing letters for you, learn about the voice synthesis stuff. Just start learning about it. You don't need to do anything right now, but as you learn about it, you're going to realize, oh shit. If you use Notion to take notes, it's already in there. If you do video calls, you can take those transcriptions and automatically have those things summarized and action items pulled out of them. Using these autonomous agents, you're going to be able to have it automatically enter stuff into Salesforce. Imagine, assuming you use Salesforce, if you could just say, add this person into Salesforce and take notes from that last call and put all the notes in there, and it will just do it. It will navigate Salesforce for you, put that thing in perfectly. I think it's going to affect sales dramatically. I think it's going to affect almost every job dramatically. Look up 3 times that we're in the Bravo hackathon. I'll go to Bing for that. Are you talking to me? You talking to me? Let me see. Bing.com. Ask me anything. What were 3 teams in the Bravo hackathon? I don't know what that is. Oh, that was Department of Air Force. Wait, let me go to chat. I found information on the Bravo hackathon, series of Air Force and Space Force. The hackathon allows teams to I couldn't find any information on the 3 teams that participated. However, I found that the Department of Air Force will host a Bravo hackathon to test whether permissive development modeling using classified data is more cost-effective than traditional means and prototyping weapon capabilities with a citation. The goal of the Bravo hackathon is to be is 60% of participants be from the government. All right, that's cool. It didn't give it the answer, but I know more about that than I did before. Do you think the military used AI before everyone? Well, listen, we've all been using AI for like the past decades. Siri's AI and Alexa's AI and your grammar check and your spell check and your music recommendations and Netflix, all like AI, it's so so AI isn't new. What's new is real human beings like you and me having access to these tools, not being data scientists or these big massive corporations. That's what's new. So yes, the military's been using AI for a while. We just did in Everyday AI. We just did. I think it was issue 15, yeah, or 16, issue 16. We talk about this company language models. So like ChatGPT, they're using large language models to automatically come up with battlefield logistic recommendations that they then send those recommendations up to, decision making brass who can then take action on those. So, yeah, so yes, I think they were using AI long before everyone, and they probably have stuff that is really scary, but whatever. When things get sort of completely out of my ability to control them, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just gonna la 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 whistle past the graveyard. Okay, let's see. Other questions. I have a degree in biology. How will AI impact my career prospects? I think if you learn AI and get really good with it, it could dramatically improve your prospects. If you ignore it, it could decimate your prospects. I mean, quite frankly, biology, the amount of medical advancement and data analysis that you can do with large language models. I don't know what particular flavor of biology you're in, but boy, you could do some really amazing stuff with large language models. So if you're not digging in deep to it, I would say dig in deep to it and figure out how you can apply it to your particular flavor of AI. I have a degree in applied math and built multiple AIs for the government. There you go. Yeah, this is my friend Richard Boyd has been in AI and large language models for a decade or so. He sold a company to Lockheed Martin. He's been doing this stuff for a long, long time. So they've had it for a while. And again, there's stuff we don't know about that's probably pretty intense. But these tools that we have access to are quite powerful. Like, Geoffrey Hinton, the guy they're calling the godfather of AI, who just quit Google. He quit Google because he's like, we've accomplished in 5 years what I thought would take 30 to 50 years. It's moving very, very fast. Nice. I'm wanting to learn so bad. If you're wanting to learn so bad, just jump in. Go to ChatGPT, chat.openai.com. Pick a project for yourself or for your business or for a community center and just do a project using ChatGPT as your partner to execute that thing. Write a marketing plan for your business. Doesn't matter. Just go do a project and you will learn. What doing a project does is it lets you learn what these things make possible. And it kind of does that. And then you can kind of see other things. That's the best way to learn it. Yudkowski says AI will kill us. What do I think and why? Yeah, he's a what they call doomers. There's boomers and there's doomers, and then I'm a Gen Xer. Fuck all them boomers. I think it's very easy to go to the dark place. I think it's actually harder and way more interesting to go to the light place. I think that these tools are superpowers, and they allow us. I think they have the very real possibility of elevating us to a higher level. I just had something pop up that I don't quite understand of TikTok. When I get an invite here, I think that's someone asking to come on stage and talk. I might start doing that. LangChain or Llama Index? I don't know. I haven't really dug deeply into LangChain, and I've heard of Llama Index. But all that stuff is so new right now. I mean, LangChain is starting to be a bit more established. So, um, but I don't know. I mean, I think they're both really remarkable approaches to tools. I'm just waiting for Apple or Microsoft or someone to make it just stupid easy to train large language models on my own data. I'm just being lazy. Do I think it's too late to jump on the bandwagon? No, we are very early. We're very early. Very, 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 very early. I'm putting together a workshop for a global company right now, and we sent out a survey to the people that might attend the workshop, and 55% of them had heard of ChatGPT and 45% of them hadn't. There are a lot of people that just haven't even heard of ChatGPT, much less doing anything about it. So we are very early. We're very early. Literally, I made a holodeck bar full of aliens interacting with one another. That's super cool. Can AI get so smart that the government will shut it down? Will shut down the internet? I would assume that's a possibility. But things would have to be pretty fucking destructive to shut down essentially the engine of the economy. That might be if something happens globally, that sort of globally a bunch of countries decide to shut it down. Machine war is worse than nuclear war. Yeah, the idea of weaponizing robots that have autonomous AI in them is pretty terrifying. Really, AI is for gaming, as it has very limited information. I don't know quite what that means. AI talking to AI on 20 computers. He's going to so far outrun our abilities. Yeah, we're already pretty close to these things outrun. They're at least outrunning our capacity for knowledge. And as these autonomous agents get smarter and the large language models get smarter, yeah. Hey, I will destroy the world. I think that it's easy to go there. Yeah, I think it is easy to go there because Hollywood's trained us that the robots are going to kill us. Two eyes quantum computers talking to each other will be unable for us to control. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. The quantum computer thing is quite interesting, where the training of these models might be happening in real time. And yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating stuff. So it's just regurgitating information that may not be correct. It's not regurgitating information. It's not copying and pasting chunks of information. It's kind of like a brain where it learns lots of words and it learns their semantic relationships to one another. And then when you ask it a prompt, it does its best through probability to answer your question with original composition of words. But it does hallucinate. That's the term in AI, meaning it will confidently answer you even if it's wrong. ChatGPT in particular has been trained to give you what you want, and so it will answer you. And I like to call ChatGPT mansplaining as a service. I did not come up with that phrase, but I love it. It will confidently answer you even if it's wrong. So if you're doing anything that you need real answers for, you need to self-verify. So just like with NFTs and blockchain, do your own research. With ChatGPT, do your own verification. Clothes and windows can't help now. They can see through walls with newly developed technology. I'm sure they are. Yeah. They're watching. We've already given away all of our privacy anyway. We did that 20 years ago with Facebook and Google. So if the product is free, you're the product. Then ChatGPT will be my personal slave. Yes, it's a tool. Have it do the shit you don't want to do. That's one of the things that I think this stuff's going to be brilliant at. Truth GPT. That'll come. There's companies like Anthropic that are really looking at the accuracy part of these large language models. There's going to be a whole industry around that. How can AI be beneficial for those of us with ADD? I am a laminated card-carrying member of the ADHD club. This stuff is so wild and so imagination sparking that it overwhelms my ADD brain. Um, I think it does a lot. I think one of the superpowers of ADD is the ability to synthesize lots of things, take lots of inputs and synthesize them. And you can think fast and you have lots of ideas. Where I have historically got hung up when I have an idea is I get hung up on the execution of taking it to the next level, right? So, oh, I've got an idea. I need a piece of software like, oh, I want to make a flow chart. Oh, I should get a piece of software for flow chart. And then I spend the next 20 minutes trying to find a piece of software, and two of them suck, and one of them makes me pay before I find out it's the wrong piece of software. And 45 minutes later, I have no fucking idea what the idea was, right? What happens with AI is that you have an idea, and with ChatGPT, you can flesh that idea out within 5-10 minutes, like fully fleshed out. Like, holy shit, that was a great idea. Let me dig deeper on that. Or that wasn't all that good an idea, but you know what? That gave me another idea. And then you can flesh that out. And then you can jump over to Midjourney and generate an image. And so it allows you to run down your ADHD hyper-focused rabbit holes in 10 minutes instead of 2 hours. And so the frustration and discouragement of when you spent 2 hours and you just wasted all your time trying to find the right piece of software and you lost the idea, that's gone for me. So I'm finding myself living at a much more focused, much more high level creative plane than I've ever done before. So I think it's superpowers for everyone, but I to a great degree, I think AI right now kind of requires a little manic, ADD brain to work well. I just lost all my comments again. Hold please while I scroll backwards. Oh, god damn this app. Okay, so what you should do now is smash that screen so I get lots of heart buttons. That someone told me that yesterday. While I try to find all your comments, smash that screen. Show me some love, people. All right. Thank you. I see all the love coming. Okay, I found the ADD comments. I hope that answered. Okay. How much cash have you got in your wallet? None. In fact, I was at a yard sale yesterday and they didn't take Venmo, and it was I wanted a $2 thing. I didn't have $2 in my pocket. And I'm like, how do you not take Venmo? Like, how do you not? I just don't have cash anymore. Cash is weird. How do you create images with ChatGPT? Well, you don't. You don't with ChatGPT, although it'll get there. You create images with things like Stable Diffusion and Midjourney and DALL-E. If you want to just play, go to bing.com/create, and that's the DALL-E. That's sort of Microsoft's Bing, but they've got the DALL-E image generation engine. So bing.com/create, and then you just type in something, and it'll make you images, and you can experience that. I think it's actually important for people to do that if they haven't done it, just to experience kind of the magic of you put in words and then it's visualized for you. How do you access ChatGPT 4 for free? You go to bing.com. So bing.com, the chat option is GPT-4 connected to the internet. That's free. You can go to po.com. You can use GPT-4, I think, for like 10 queries a day for free, and then they charge you if you want more than that. You can pay $20 a month, which I know is not free. It's $20 a month, but you can go to chat.openai.com, pay them $20 a month, and they give you access to GPT-4. I'm sure there's others. I don't understand why Google can't understand the power of AI. The power is AI-powered data, and they are the king. Well, not only does Google understand, they flippin' invented the transformer, which is the tech that sits underneath all of these image generation tools, all the video generation tools, all the audio generation tools, ChatGPT. That shit was invented by Google. They purposefully didn't use it, didn't release it, because it threatened their business model. Their business model is based on you clicking 20 times to find something. So if you just give someone the answer, it fucks up their business model. And they had 92 or 94% market share when ChatGPT launched. So they didn't have any incentive to threaten their own business model. But when ChatGPT got to 100 million users, it forced them out of the woodwork. It forced them to confront this. So that they're behind because they basically ignored it. Can ChatGPT drive my car? No, but Tesla's autopilot is trying to get there. It's taking longer than Elon Musk thought it would. How realistic are expectations that AI is detectable in text? Well, some of it is. There's a war going on right now. Whether or not something has been written by ChatGPT will be irrelevant 6 months from now, maybe a year from now. It's going to be ubiquitous. It's going to be in everything. So who gives a shit if it was written by ChatGPT? What you should give a shit about is it good? And in fact, Google initially said it's gonna deprioritize anything that was written by large language models. And then after they released Bard, they said, well, we're not going to deprioritize anything written by a large language model, but we're going to deprioritize things that are low value content. So they're like, you got to do high value content, which basically means you need an editor. You need someone who actually looks at the content and goes, yeah, this is good, valuable content that solves this particular content goal. And if it does that, whether or not it was written by a machine, who gives a shit? I heard that Bing is a mix of GPT-4 and 3.5. Is that true? I think it's based on 4 from what I understand, but it's definitely a different fine-tuned model, and they've got their own kind of set of rules. So when Bing first came out, it was quite powerful, and like weirdly more powerful than GPT 3.5, ChatGPT at the time. And then this reporter from the New York Times kind of pushed it over the edge, and it told him to leave his wife, and that made the cover of the New York Times. And when that happened, Microsoft shut that shit down. So they kind of neutered Bing. They neutered Sydney was the name of the what Bing Chat told this reporter its name was Sydney. So they they lobotomized Sydney. But it's getting better again. Like they're slowly opening up the capability as they're getting safe, but they kind of got their asses handed to them for a week or two there. I'm working with AI to create a meal plan, but it keeps forgetting what I've asked. Okay. So yeah, this will get better over time, but the way the memory works when you have a chat conversation with ChatGPT, there's a window of 4,000 tokens, which basically equates to 3,000 words. So you have about 3,000 words that it can keep in its memory. So you start with just a paragraph, and that's whatever, 150 words, and then it gives you some answers, and that's 1,000, and then you go back and forth. And so there's kind of this rolling 3,000 word window. So what you may need to do is if there's something from the beginning of the conversation, go copy that or have it summarize that and sort of put that down lower in the conversation, and that'll help. There's an open source model that we covered in Everyday AI from Mosaic ML, this model called MPT-7B, and one of their models is called Storywriter, and Storywriter has a 65,000 token context window. So that's 48,000 words. So it's basically an entire novel is what it can keep in its memory. So you can go use that open source model, Storywriter, from MPT-7B, Mosaic ML, or you can just wait for GPT-4. When they finally fully release it, we'll have 32,000 tokens, which is like 25,000 words. So these things are going to get better, but yeah, it's a pain in the ass right now. I thought Bing is running GPT-4 since about a month, not officially, but I've heard that often. Yes, GPT-4, that's confirmed. I built a trading bot with ChatGPT, and it's wicked accurate. I know, the trading bot stuff's really cool. Yeah, stock trading. Heard that AutoGPT racks up a fortune doing the most simple things. Yeah, if AutoGPT gets in a recursive loop and just keeps looping through shit, and it's charging you API fees every time, yes, it can. And if one of the things it's doing is embedding, like using its memory. Embedding is quite expensive, relatively. So yeah, you can run up big bills with that. I haven't, but I've heard that people have run up big bills. Just maybe damn it would be great. Other than God damn it, sorry. I swear. I'm not Gary V swearing, but when I get excited, I tend to cut loose. Damn it in the presence of the Lord. I left an agent overnight and it spent my whole API allowance. I know. That's what you get. That's the price of innovation. It's free but neutered. Paid API for full. Yeah. Can GPT be used by a doc? Yeah. So there's a really cool TikTok video I saw of this doctor who told ChatGPT about a patient case and it got the diagnosis right, and then gave it a harder case and it got the diagnosis right, and then gave it like the hardest case he had ever dealt with and it got the diagnosis right. And he goes, "Oh my God, this is remarkable." And then he said, give me, cite the research that is the foundation for, how you got to that diagnosis. And it gave him these citations and they were all made up. It was all bullshit. But yeah, doctors can use it for, in fact, there was a study that just was published this week where they had real doctors and ChatGPT doctors interacting with patients, and the patients by far preferred the ChatGPT doctors, and they were by far more empathetic than the real doctors were. So I think there's lots and lots of ways doctors are going to be using this stuff. How can I make images in ChatGPT? You can't. I inadvertently put in the birthday with a 2095 instead of a 1995, and now it won't let me set up. Oh, that sucks. I know that's the problem with a lot of these new technology companies is they don't have fucking tech support because you get it for free. You're the product. And they just don't give a shit. I'm sorry about that. It makes good Python code, I know. That was my big breakthrough epiphany about ChatGPT. It wrote me a Python application. The problem is that it only has data until 2021. Yeah, the large language models, they stop at September 2021, but Bing is connected to the internet. So Bing combines web searches that are more recent with the large language model, and they're all going to start to do that. So that limitation won't be nearly as apparent as things move forward. Will AI really replace software engineers? Some of them, but I still think certainly for the next 2 years, software engineers are going to be super required. And if you know anything about AI and how to wrangle these tools, there's going to be a lot of demand for that. But I think that we are quickly moving to a place where these tools might dynamically create software for one-time use, right? Like I ask it to do something and it will say, is there an app that does that? No. Okay, let me just write one. It'll write an app. It'll do whatever I ask it to do. And then when I'm done with it, it'll just go away. So I think the world of software engineering is going to change dramatically. And if you're not using Copilot on GitHub, I would start. Just get used to, sort of think of it like this. You're pair programming with a large language model. Yeah, someone said use BART if you need past 2021. Seriously. Gosh damn it is offensive. Thanks. Well, sorry. I would unsubscribe because I do swear every now and again. I've decided not to be a software engineer, but because this will be automated in the future. Yeah, I mean, I still think there's a role for engineers and programmers. I just think what they do, if you compare what you do now as a software engineer to what you're going to do, it's going to be very different. AI will take over the 90% of the jobs in the next 5 years. 90's probably hyperbolic, but I could see 30 to 50%. But it will also generate jobs that we have no clue are coming. So there's going to be new categories of work that are coming that are probably going to be remarkable and interesting. So it's not just doom and gloom. Again, there's plenty of ways to look at this and just look at the dark side. Look at the light as well. I mean, think about this. Think about what these AI tools are. Is they are brilliance amplifiers. They take what you're brilliant at and they amplify it. So if you were 50% more brilliant than you are because you're using these tools, what could you contribute? What could you do at your job? What could you do in your community? What could you do for your family? That's what these things make possible. So don't just go to the dark side. I've been using AI for a while now, and most people have no clue what's coming. That's why I'm doing this channel. This is absolutely about that. Why are we so enthralled with AI when the Terminator movie predicts it will be our demise? Because that's a movie. I don't know. What if things got dramatically better instead of dramatically worse? I mean, we're screwing up this globe and country right now without AI. So what if things got better? Why are we so enthralled? Okay, that was that one. In the future, the only jobs will be personality based. I think authenticity, human connection, empathy, creative expression are all going to be in high demand in the future. I think, and this is one of the things I'm excited about. If you think about the mundane, low-level, repetitive, soul-crushing work in our society, a lot of that is going to be automated out. And then what's left? I don't know. Go start a music career. Or not even a music career. Go teach yourself songwriting and sing to your friends and reconnect with the world. The AI rap song, my gosh. The one with Drake and The Weeknd? Yeah, amazing. Amazing. And then Grimes, Elon's ex, just said last week, synthesize my voice all you want. Just give me 50%, which I think is a brilliant move. How soon are you thinking? I don't know. In response to what? 3 months and you will hear more and more. Yep. Detroit become human. Is this what our future will be? I don't quite know what that means. Like, will cars become human? Will robots become human? They're going to be a hell of a lot more human than they are now. So Steve from the IRS will no longer sound like he's calling from Calcutta. Correct. That's actually one of the things that I think is really interesting is you're gonna have voice synthesis things where Steve, whose name is obviously not Steve, will actually sound like Steve, but it will also probably not be someone in Calcutta on the other end of the phone. It'll probably just be purely synthesized voice, and you're having a conversation with a ChatGPT bot that's been trained for that particular business. ChatGPT gave me a business plan. Congrats, that's awesome. So if AI can replace customer service, what if the customer contact also works with AI? Yeah, well, I think we're absolutely moving to a world where it's going to be like, I'll have my AI reach out to your AI and they'll work it out. And right, whoever's got the best AI sort of comes out on the top of that transaction. I think this will happen with things like insurance claims, legal interactions, customer service interactions, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. If you haven't played with it, there's a tool called Do Not Disturb. Let's see. Do Not Disturb. Where is it? Is it .com? Do Not Disturb. Is it Do Not Disturb? Is that right? Disturb.com. No. Oh, dang it. I didn't say the GD. You'd be proud of me, those of you that hate the Lord and damn being in the same word together. Do not disturb. Is it do not disturb? No. Do not. What the hell's the name of that? There's the world's first virtual lawyer. That's maybe how I can find it. World's first virtual lawyer. World's first robot lawyer. Is this it? Sorry about this. Sometimes the brain just don't work. Fight speeding tickets. This is it. The heck's it called? Do not pay. Do not disturb. I'm such an idiot. Do not pay. So this is a virtual lawyer that will like fight your speeding tickets for you, and so you kind of give it a speeding ticket or you give it whatever sort of minor infraction you have, and it will go do all the legal work. It does it for all the municipalities, things like that. This was started by a 19-year-old, like in his mom's basement. I think it's 5 or 6 years old now. But like this is going to, impact lawyers. But this is exactly what you're asking there. Do you also believe it will replace most jobs within less than a decade? I mean, replace jobs. I think it will transform most jobs within a decade. I think there will be a lot of new jobs that we can't even imagine what they are right now. That'll probably be really exciting and really interesting. I think there will be a significant chunk of people displaced that don't have the capacity or the desire to learn this stuff that are going to be in trouble. I didn't understand Andrew Yang going on about universal basic income in the last presidential election. I get it now. I don't think it's the complete solution, but I think that there's going to be enough disruption that we probably need some sort of backfill to not screw up the economy. Now I'm afraid to swear because people are offended. What you should be offended at is my hair. Okay. Can you get current information or statistics using ChatGPT? No, but you can with Bing. Go to bing.com. It's connected to the internet. And with the ChatGPT browser plugin, you'll be able to. Just not right now. What is ChatGPT and how do you get it? ChatGPT is a simple front end on top of, in front of, an incredibly powerful knowledge engine that sits underneath it. You go to chat.openai.com and start asking it stuff, and it will blow your mind. Ask it to explain quantum mechanics to you in the style of an M&M rap, and watch what it does. Generative models in general, along with classifiers, super powerful in bio. Cool. Got a link. I don't know what you're talking about. How do data scientists equal AI? Don't know what you mean. Using ChatGPT as my gym trainer to get fit. Yeah, my buddy that writes the Everyday AI newsletter, he wrote a tweet that just totally blew up. He's lost, I think, 45 pounds. ChatGPT's helped him lose 45 pounds since COVID. Gen X all the way. Gen X, baby. We're bitter. We're angry. We're the ignored, bitter people. We're cynical, but we're fun. 35% more production, 20% more enjoyment using ChatGPT. Yeah, they just did a study. They had two groups of people. One used ChatGPT, one didn't. They gave them identical tasks. The ChatGPT group was 37% more productive at a 20% higher quality. So think in a 5-day work week, 2 of the days you don't need to work if you're using ChatGPT, and you're outputting 20% higher quality work than the people not using it. Like, and that's using, like, you got to realize that the tools that we have access to right now are like these janky, primitive, quickly tossed together. Like ChatGPT was written in 2 weeks. I'm sure it's better than it used to be, but it was written in 2 weeks. It's a very thin piece of software. There's not much to it. And we're seeing essentially 40% productivity improvements. Like, just wait till these things get good. How do you get or use ChatGPT? Chat.openai.com. In fact, since there's probably some new people here, I'll play with. Sorry, my app just crashed. Tap the screen if you can still hear me. Am I still live? Okay. Yes. Okay, good. So chat.openai.com. Sorry about the focus thing. God damn. I hate machines sometimes. Oops, I just said goddamn. Oh well, what are you gonna do? You could not watch. Jesus, that's not readable at all, is it? So anyway, chat.openai.com, bing.com, or poe.com, poe.com. The focus is just disaster. So that's how you can use ChatGPT. Let me go get another picture. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. I like that one. These images are from a project called Kyle Shannon Dreams. So these were all trained up on like 20 pictures I uploaded of myself to this thing called Dream Booth, and they were made in Stable Diffusion. So they're sort of me, but not me kind of pictures. Fine tune your digital twin. Any guidance on how to use it for language learning? Yeah, it knows all the languages. I had ChatGPT. I took a paragraph, I translated it to Portuguese, then Hungarian, then Japanese, then German, then back to English, and I could still read, like, the paragraph still made sense. It knows languages. In fact, I was on, in one of my videos, I said to someone, they asked a question about like, does it understand languages? And I said it can probably make up a language. And a guy got back to me like a week later, and he said I had it make up a language for me that was sort of based on some Star Wars something or other. So okay. So if you want to use it for language learning, I'll give you. This is good for everyone. Go to prompts.chat. And then this is called Awesome ChatGPT Prompts. And so the first part of this document explains how to prompt, but then it's all just a series of act as a. So the second one in this list is act as an English translator and improver. So you can tell ChatGPT to act like a language teacher, and you could say a language teacher that specializes in, teaching someone who only knows one language to learn this specific language, and I want you to create customized training for me, and it will just do it. It'll become your personalized language tutor. Even AGI at human level is going to be 1,000 times faster. Yeah, I know. Is this a real live? No, this is GPT-5, and they have chosen this face as the one that you would believe is a real human being. But this is all synthesized. You on Twitch too or something? I'm not on Twitch because I'm not a gamer, and I could probably do things on Twitch that are not game related, but I just haven't. I just started on TikTok because I did my Kyle Shannon Dreams project. I created TikToks for that, and then at some point I was like, oh, screw it. Let me just make a TikTok to talk about this AI stuff, because I really started this channel in large part to just be able to process what I was learning, to get it out of my head. And then I realized, oh wait, it's actually really important to demystify this stuff, that we're in the middle of a transformation, and it's I think it's vitally important that we get curious about this stuff and don't demonize it, and understand it. And start learning it. And so that's what this channel's all about. If you could only be part of one ecosystem, SageMaker, Hugging Face, or Steamship, etc., what would it be? That's a good question. I don't think it would be Hugging Face or GitHub or things like that. I haven't even heard of the other two things. If I had my druthers, the large language models would be just ubiquitous in every ecosystem that I'm in. And my personal autonomous agents could navigate between the systems for me. I would probably prioritize human communities, like communities of connection rather than communities of technical homogenization. Because I think the AI is going to just automate all of the translation between all of the different platforms. So I don't think the platforms ultimately matter, which again goes back to the thing that I think is the really bright silver lining of all this stuff is there's the chance that we reconnect as humans. That's the thing I think we're missing, and it's the thing I think we need. And I think it's the reason I think everyone's so sad and cranky and angry with each other right now. So I want to get back to like not hating each other. Wouldn't that be nice? I don't notice any questions on here he's replying to, because I'm basically starting at the top and then just working my way down. I'm not doing it from the bottom up. So there's probably a better way to do this. But oh, by the way, today's my birthday. I'm 58. I'm a 58-year-old dude, so I'm not a TikToker. I won't be twerking tonight. You're welcome. Um, so I'm probably doing this wrong, is why it doesn't look like I'm answering any questions, but I am. You can use good prompts so that it won't answer when it's not confident. Okay. Even can give you a confidence level. I don't quite know what that means. You can use good prompts so that it won't answer when it's not confident. Oh yeah, you can tell it to one of the hacks of ChatGPT is you can have it give you an answer, and then you can tell it, reflect on the answer you just gave me and tell me whether it's good or bad. And in reflecting on the answer and analyzing its own answer, it will get better at answering your stuff. So yeah, that's a really good point. You can even give it a confidence level. So when it gives you an answer, tell it to analyze its answer to give you a confidence level of how accurate it thinks it is. It really interesting. I don't see comments he's talking to. That's because I'm GPT-5. I'm not real. This is all synthesized. Isn't AI cool? Da, 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 da. What other tech you think has promise for revolutionizing the future, like crypto or quantum computing? There's a lot. There's a bunch. Quantum computing feels like it's still fairly far away, but when it gets here, it's going to be crazy. I think all the Web3 stuff has shot itself in the foot by being a bunch of money grabbing crypto bros. So I think that whole industry has probably 3 years of eating some humble pie till they actually start putting out real businesses that are not just money grabbing scams. And I was pretty deep in that world. I'm part of the Neo Tokyo community, and I was pretty deep in that world for a year. And it's just, I don't know. What was interesting about crypto and blockchain and all that NFTs for me was the deeper I dug, the less real those companies felt, and the tech's really interesting. Just the companies suck, and the deeper I dug with the AI stuff, the more profound it got. And so I think that AI will drive Web3 adoption. I'm trying to think if I mean I think AI is going to amplify a lot of things. I think some of the things going on in the medical community with CRISPR and the protein folding, the AI that predicted 400,000 or some ridiculous amount of proteins like in a 2-week period that would have taken, I don't know, some god awful number of years. I think that's going to revolutionize a lot of things. Will this put VAs out of business? I don't know what VAs are. Like Veterans Administration? If that's what you mean, VAs. Oh, virtual assistants. Yes. I think that a autonomous agent, when autonomous agents get good, they will be way better than any virtual assistant. Way better. They'll go book stuff for you. They'll understand your preferences. They'll fight fights for you. They'll arrange play dates for your kids. Yes. I think that autonomous agent, and again, I just have this sneaking suspicion that Apple's going to be really good at this. I think Apple's going to be the first one to really crack the nut of kind of the consumer, the consumer version of AI. And I think it'll be an autonomous agent that operates on your behalf and just does great stuff for you. Can the AI hurt people? Yeah, it can. I mean, like in a lot of ways, but it's like, I mean, so can everything else, right? So can, a hacker using, phishing techniques, and the AI will be able to do that stuff a lot more efficiently. I think we're going to see, and I don't think it's, so this is an interesting thing. Like a lot of the fear is like the robots will get us. I don't think it's so much that the AI is going to hurt people. I think what it is the scammers are going to use AI to get really good at scamming, and that's going to hurt a lot of people. So I think people are going to hurt people using AI. Will AI allow us to own AI people and families who have no idea they're being watched from a screen? I don't know what that means. Like you're watching me right now? I don't know. I'd like to learn how to write AI. Have ChatGPT teach you that because it can. Will AI allow us to own AI people and families who have no idea? I got that one again. I don't know what that question means. If you could have ChatGPT rephrase that question so I can understand it. I'm just a simple country doctor. They even know the name of our first pet and the first time we kissed. Yeah, we gave up all of our private information 20 years ago. We gave it up to Google and Facebook. So don't blame my AI for that crap. We did that. We did that. Thank you. I'm getting happy birthdays. It jumped me to the bottom again. Thanks for the happy birthdays. I'm old. I'm an old feller. Your controlled cursing is admirable. Thank you. Thank you, Emily's wife. I know I slipped there once, but I'm trying. I get wrapped up in I get wrapped up in the passion, the excitement. And I'm a fan of comics that use bad words. So it's just become my default. So what are you going to do? All right. I'm not going all the way back up because I can't find it, but I'll just start somewhere. So let's see. I am mother shows how AI affects us. AI does depopulate people and then repopulate us via embryos. I have no idea what that means. Is there a charge for AI? Someone's paying for it. The Bing.com is free. That's by Microsoft. Microsoft is making their money on cloud services and Office 365 and probably a little bit of advertising, but not much because they're willing to lose money on this so they can kick Google's ass. ChatGPT is free, but you get kind of a slower version than if you pay for it. The DALL-E, DALL-E image generation is free. You can also use that on Bing.com. So there's some free stuff out there. What if AI doesn't need us anymore? In this case, AGI or ASI? I don't know. I mean, that's sort of the 20 or 30 year vision. I can't look that far down right now. I'm just trying to figure out what's happening in the next year because I think when these things get smart enough that they're starting to create their own governments and their own governance things, and they're starting to manipulate us into believing different things. Hopefully, we'll be smart enough to have controls in place. If you're interested in a possible direction that those controls might take, start reading up on the company Anthropic, which is a bunch of ex-OpenAI people that use this thing called the constitutional learning model, where basically the AI measures all of its answers against its own constitution. So it's a set of rules that it checks its answers against. So there's some models out there that are pretty interesting for that. For me right now, I think the next 2 years are going to be so disruptive that I'm just worried about that right now. I'm kind of in this place of start getting curious about this stuff. So you're surfing the tsunami rather than thinking you're in a cozy beach cottage with the tsunami coming. I don't think all the AI tools to develop software are not intelligent enough. Go start writing software with them. They're brilliant, and they are as bad now as they will ever be. These things are getting better dramatically fast. The code stuff is I don't think we're going to need to. Code will become quite invisible pretty quickly, I think. What's the largest effect you think ChatGPT will have on business? Well, I think the fact that 100 million people started using ChatGPT in 6 weeks says to me that it isn't going away. It's forced all of the AI companies out of the shadows. It's dramatically amplified competition. It's dramatically amplified the amount of developers improving these tools. So I don't think that there's a single business that won't be profoundly affected in the next 12 months. I think it's going to have dramatic impact on all businesses. And I mean like what companies do may change, what their workers do may change, how they bill may change. Like just take like one of the worlds I know a decent amount about is the advertising world. And they use a time and materials model. So they charge hours for people to generate stuff, copywriting, images, ads, TV shows, whatever it is. We're moving into a world where the generation of that kind of content happens in 3 seconds. So if you say to a client, I'm going to charge you 4 weeks of 10 people to generate this amount of content that I, as the client, know can be generated in 2 days at the same level of quality, you could certainly argue it might not be the same level of quality, but it's orders of magnitude different. So I think the advertising holding companies and just ad agencies in general are very quickly going to confront a reality where clients are no longer willing to pay time and materials. If you've got a 4-decade-old holding company that its entire model is based on hiring as many people as possible and charging $120 an hour and up for those employees to do all this work, and all of a sudden the majority of your clients say, I'm not going to pay time and materials anymore, that will affect that business in a very dramatic way. I think that's a very real possibility. I think we're going to see that across almost every industry. The technology is far beyond what people are talking about. I agree. Customer service claims. Do not pay. Yeah, do not pay.com. Oh, that was it. That was when I was trying to figure it out. What did I say? Do not disturb. Someone should start do not disturb.com right now because, you'll make a fortune on it because I can remember that. At least that'll shut down the Calcutta call centers or free up those guys for some other mischief. Yeah, exactly. They'll get really good at the scamming stuff. I don't take much stock. Okay, I don't know what this says. What is the role of an AI expert called? Liar. There should be no AI experts right now. Well, there can be machine learning and data scientist AI experts, but with this generative AI stuff, no one's an expert right now. Everyone's trying to figure it out. What about trademarks and copyright? Will my business idea truly be mine? Trademark and copyright is an incredibly complicated, nuanced, filled with gray area kind of topic that I am in no way capable of commenting on with any real intelligence. I think the copyright and trademark lawyers are going to make a fortune in the next 2 decades. I think everyone's going to sue everyone. And I think we are moving into a world where the role of copyright is increasingly irrelevant. Because we're moving. So copyright was based on the premise that printing a book was hard. And those laws got really weird and had to be modified when we moved into the internet age, when everything went digital and it was really easy to send anything. And they kind of had to artificially put on sort of copyright layers on top of stuff. We're moving into a world where content's going to be generated in real time for me personally, like within 5 years. So I don't know how you protect anything in a world where you have infinite content. I don't know. People are going to fight and people's careers are going to be upended, and that part really sucks. But I just don't know how that concept survives in a world where you have infinite instant generation of content. There will be a lot of AI related jobs. Lots that we don't even know. Drones payload operators will soon be gone. I think drones are going to get smarter and smarter and smarter. How can I convince my workplace not to go into AI because I don't want to lose my job? Your workplace is, if they're going into AI, it's smart. If any job that is ignoring this right now, I think is at risk of going out of business. So what I would say to you is get curious about AI, figure out how to amplify what you do with AI, because I don't think you can hide from this. I really don't. Talk how you talk. That's why you're here. We like you as your natural self. Why, thank you, Jasmine. I appreciate that. Does it cost money? What, AI? ChatGPT doesn't. Is ChatGPT cloud-based? Yes, it is. And by the way, ChatGPT, if you don't know it, they now have data controls. You can turn off chat history, and you can turn off the ability for them to use your data, but you lose your chat history. So if you turn that on, make sure you download your chat history first. What way ChatGPT can help with weight loss? Tell it to make you a meal plan. If you like a particular kind of approach, like keto or I don't know, whatever, some sort of approach. Tell it to give you a meal plan. Tell it to give you an exercise plan. I obviously haven't done that with it. That was a fat joke. People are worrying about you swearing or missing the point of this stream. Amazing info being shared. Thank you. It's a party. How do you use ChatGPT online plugin? I don't know what you mean. There are a lot of like Chrome plugins, Chrome extensions that tie into the GPT API. Again, most of what I use is just I go to chat.openai.com. That's the official ChatGPT site. I don't think you need to use other stuff right now. I need to convince my boss not to get involved with AI. Please guide me, SOS. I disagree. I think you need to find out. I would ask your boss why your boss is so excited about AI. Oh, I'm in the advertising industry. You need to be in AI. Like, here's the deal. A 3 to 4 person company, three to four people are going to start an AI-centric agency that are going to outperform a 30 or 40 person agency. They're going to outperform them on turnaround time, cost, and quality. All three of those. And they're going to start, small companies are going to start taking down big companies one after the other. I think if you're in the advertising, it looks like you're a producer. You got to start learning these tools. The advertising industry in particular, I do a lot of work in the pharma business, and a number of my clients are fed up with agencies. They're fed up with time and materials. They're fed up with baiting and switching, where the senior people sell in the business and then they switch them out with the junior people that are incompetent and unmotivated, and they charge a ridiculous amount of money for it. They take forever to turn things around, and it's a model that is fraught with frustration and problems. And as clients get more educated on what these AI tools can do, they're going to look to agencies that can turn things around on their expectations at a price, that is not the current model. So I think your boss is right. I hate to say it. Your boss is right to be leaning into the direction. If I were you, I would pal up with your boss and find out why he or she is so excited about this or feels it's so important, and support them. Because otherwise the whole agency is going to go down. How do you use ChatGPT online plugin? I don't know. I asked that before. Can AI maintain my home lab and is smart? Probably not, but still asking. I don't know what your home lab is. Like, if it's just like beakers and you're pouring things into beakers, probably not. But if it's anything connected to the internet, I think it could certainly help. I would, that's something that I would ask ChatGPT. I would say, you're a lab assistant. Describe your lab, describe what tools you use, and then say, how could you Help me maintain my home lab, and see what it tells you. Have I seen the latest videos of Instagram where they use Midjourney? I have not. I'll go look that up. That's interesting. Can it help with stocks and shares? Yeah, you can have it make it will program bots for you. You can even combine bots. You can, if you go to like a stock trading site and go to their bot section, you could take two different bots, copy the code, paste it into ChatGPT, and say combine this into a hybrid bot between these two, or explain how these bots work. Explain what's the theory behind them, and then take the best parts of that and tell it to write you a new bot, and it'll do that. It's magic. Did I say prompts.chat? Yes. Prompts.chat takes you to awesome ChatGPT prompts. And it's just this never ending list of act as a motivational speaker, as a debate coach, as a novelist, as a movie critic, as a philosophy teacher. Pretty cool. All right, I got to go to bed soon. I got big meetings tomorrow. Big meetings. Dun, 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 dun. Happy birthday. Thank you for the happy birthdays. Appreciate that. I'm old. I'm old and tired. But my teeth are still here. Some of them. Not all of them. Love this channel. Keep it up. And happy birthday. Thank you, fellow Gen Xer. Gen Xers, stick together. Bitter? You betcha. Oh, no, I came for the twerking. Yeah, sorry about that. There will be no twerking. For the benefit of you, but also for my back. Do you know what? Like, I would just drop to the ground, with a spinal injury if I tried twerking. It's actually more fun to work with AI instead of using it. Yeah, I think that's right. Like, think of ChatGPT and these AI tools like a collaborator. It really does change how you interact with them. Like, I find myself, someone said this last night, they're like, I find myself being very polite to ChatGPT, like thanking it and saying, please. I do the same thing. What do I think of Hinton's latest interviews and comments? So Jeffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI, quit Google so that he could focus on being able to freely talk about the risks of AI. I think it's ultimately a good thing. I mean, what Hinton realized is that this stuff's moving way faster than he thought it would. We've sort of accomplished in 5 years what he thought would take 30 to 50. And what he said was, if he's being paid by Google, there are things that he might need to say. Like he explicitly said, Google isn't doing anything bad, but because Google's a business, he might say something about what the industry is doing that would have a negative impact on Google. So he didn't want to be paid by Google and be in that position where he couldn't compromise his workplace, basically. So I think that's pretty smart. And he's a smart guy, and he understands this stuff, and he understands what the risks are. And he can answer questions like, how will this kill us? Which then means he can also answer the question, what could we do now to have it not kill us? Right? So I don't think just having adorable optimism, which I've been accused of that before, I don't think just having adorable optimism is the key. I think we have to be realistic and say, what are the actual risks and how do we mitigate those risks? And part of that is government participation, but you have to have a government that's competent. Our government doesn't understand how Wi-Fi works. They don't understand how AI works. I mean, come on. So, I think you need people like Hinton. Like he's probably very well positioned to be in some sort of advisory role or even a cabinet role within the government, where all of a sudden the government could have a fucking clue. Wouldn't that be nice? I'm not holding my breath, but it would be nice. Answer my work emails. Yes. Yeah, it's going to get really good at that. I'm teaching VAs how to use AI. That's great. Teach AI how to interact with your VAs. Apple savings already made $1 billion. Yeah, Apple. Listen, I've been an Apple fanboy. My first Mac was a Macintosh 512KE. Look it up. It was the second Mac. I've been an Apple fanboy for decades. I don't mind Tim Cook, but he's a CFO. He's not a visionary. That company, they lost Johnny Ives. They lost Steve Jobs. They are missing a visionary. But they're Apple. They at least have the DNA to be able to do some remarkable things. And they have the money to be able to hire the talent. So I I keep holding out hope that Apple's not going to suck with this AI stuff. I think they could be really good with it. Ask me in 3 months. If they don't make an AI announcement in June, I think I'm going to go to Android. No, I'm not. I'm going to always be an Apple guy, but but seriously, like I am more like I was always a Microsoft hater. I think Microsoft is their last 6 months has been brilliant. Brilliant. They're acting like a startup. It was funny in the early web days, Microsoft, because their core business was selling software in shrink wrap boxes in box stores. And so they were very resistant to the internet because it was a direct contradiction to how they made all their money. So they were kind of 2-3 years just not there. But when they decided to go internet, they did it like that. And I feel like they've done that with this AI stuff as well. And they're also the new CEO is taking such glee in fucking with Google. It's really fun to see. So I didn't think ever in my lifetime I would be a Microsoft fan, but the last 6 months I've kind of been a Microsoft fan. Like I'm even considering like the Office suite of products. Like I've been using Google Office stuff for I don't know how long, 7-8 years, 10 years, a long time. But the work Microsoft's doing is really smart. Sorry, lost my place again. Going back, going back, going back. Hold, please, hold, please. I gotta go to bed. Have I said that before? But I like doing this. I like doing these things. Hopefully people are enjoying. It's actually okay. I'm back where I was. Okay. We'll use AI to catch the scammers. Yeah, so just like you've got hackers right now trying to hack, and white hat security people try to fight the hackers. Like the hackers are going to get access to these AI tools, but so are the good guys. So the wars will continue. They're just going to have more powerful tools. So I agree with that. And yeah, you'll be able to, if you actually catch a scammer, you'll be able to take them down in pretty significant ways with these tools. How long will it be before the AI doing virtual assistant work? I think that's coming very, very quickly. Again, I'm hoping Apple does that really well. AI will certainly make smart contracts easier, boosting the use of DAOs, new business structures. Yeah, I agree. I think AI is absolutely the path that is going to drive Web3 adoption. Yeah, DAOs are really interesting, but having AI assist in all the scenario planning of what could go wrong with the DAO, I think we're gonna start to see really sophisticated structures that are driven by AI that make Web3 safe, palatable, intuitive, easy, transparent, all the stuff it needs to be. Right now, you still need to be a fucking programmer to be in Web3, and that needs to go away. Like I should just be able to say, I want to create an NFT of my artwork, and I want people on these networks to be able to buy my shit, and it can figure out all of the translations and chain swapping and whatever like I shouldn't need to know any of that shit, and I shouldn't need to have 400 wallets to play in Web3. Sorry, I'm a little bitter about Web3. Advice for how to introduce to students on proper use to help in their schoolwork. I would just start interacting with them, like using critical thinking and exploring the tools together. Like I don't think you need to instantly become an expert overnight. I would make it safe for them to talk about, like, who here's used ChatGPT. Make it safe for them to say, oh, I use it, and make it safe for them to say, I used it for my homework. And then say, well, how did you use it for your homework? Let's do that for the next assignment. Let's have everyone do that for their homework. And then let's bring in our answers for what ChatGPT created, and let's look at them together, and we can talk about what was good and what was bad. And you can engage with them about, hey, these tools are kind of magical. And, I was running the classroom in a certain way, and then these tools kind of changed that. So let's figure out together how we're going to change that. because maybe we use these tools to do things that are more creative than we would have done otherwise. I don't know. I mean, I think you just engage, right? I think you engage as humans. Now, you're a teacher, so you need to kind of lead the charge there. So you need to have a plan. But the plan could be step one, figure out what your students are already doing because they're probably doing something with it. I enjoy your analysis. What's your background? Are you trained and working in IT? My background is I'm trained as a storyteller. I have a degree in acting. I moved to New York City out of school. Started and ran a theater company. I wrote 7 screenplays. I wrote a one-man show. And then in the mid 90s, I was doing desktop publishing as my day job when I was trying to be an actor. And well, I wasn't trying to be an actor. I was successfully being an actor. I just wasn't getting paid for it. So creatively successful, financially disaster. Then I discovered the World Wide Web and I started one of the first online magazines. I started one of the first digital agencies, a company called agency.com. And then for the past decade, I've been the co-founder and CEO of a company called Storyvine, which is an automated video storytelling platform. So I would consider myself more of a product guy than I'm certainly not an engineer, and I'm certainly not in IT, but I work with a lot of those people, so I understand the world. I'm more interested in, and like the only thing I think I have skill for is kind of the strategy around how you think about AI, how you might deploy it, how you might use it, how you might leverage it. And I think that's the transition we're in the middle of is you don't need to be a data scientist and a machine learning expert. You don't need to create the models anymore. Well, people that create the models can go create the models. But now that the models have been presented in this magical little tool called ChatGPT, and now that that's going to lead to all these other magical tools that are really easy for regular human beings to access, now it starts to be about, okay, what are the powers that these tools give us as professionals, and how is that going to shift every industry? So that's how I'm coming at this. So I'm just geeky enough to be able to have the conversations and understand what's going on. But the minute you put me in front of code, my ADHD takes over and I want to smash my face into the screen. So engineers, I respect them a lot because they can do that and I can't. In fact, my business Storyvine basically exists because I don't have the attention span to do video editing. And I invented a whole company to automate that shit so I didn't have to do it. All right. Will AI allow you to create AI personalities on the cloud who will have no idea that they are real? Yes, I think within a year, it will be very hard to distinguish real from fake avatars. And again, this is where I think that blockchain technology could be really interesting, where you could use blockchain and NFTs to validate that someone is real. Like, yeah, this is the real person. This is like, in fact, people are joking because of how poorly I manage my question answering. Is this a pre-recorded thing? It's not a pre-recorded thing, but it may seem like it. Well, so imagine if one of the, icons on screen was like a blockchain verified, this is live, this is a real person, because I think we're going to need that. How can I tell the written response to format better on documents like resumes, different colors, indent? So you can, if it depends on the program you're using, but I created a program that generated emails, and then it was just doing plain text emails, and I said, I want this to look better. Can you reformat this in HTML? To make it look better, and it did, and it just wrote the HTML of that email, and I used that in an email thing. So depending on where you're putting the document, you can have it tag different sections and have it recommend colors, all sorts of things like that. And depending on the software application you're using, it might use some sort of XML that you can import, and if you can import XML, then you can have ChatGPT generate XML. It's pretty remarkable. Controls are going to be behind a paywall or security of sorts. No. For some tools, but again, there's so much happening in the open source world right now, and there are so many developers pouncing on this that I think there's going to be all sorts of options out there that we're going to have that won't be behind paywalls. What I think is going to remain behind paywalls, and where I think there's a lot of good business, is proprietary data sets. So Bloomberg just launched or just announced Bloomberg GPT, which is a ChatGPT like model based on proprietary Bloomberg data. I think those kind of things are going to remain behind firewalls, and those are going to be worth paying for, because you're going to have a high likelihood of trust that that data is going to be valuable and useful and things like that. How can AI be my first personal financial decision maker? I'm really shitty with money, so I should answer that one too. But you can just have it, tell it you want it to be a personal financial coach, explain your situation, and have it give you a 10-week plan. And then break each of the steps of the plan down into a day-by-day plan. Have it give you a day-by-day weekly plan for the next 10 weeks and see what it comes up with. And 10 weeks might not be right. It might be 6 months, but whatever. And give it your goals. I want to improve my credit rating. I want to start a savings account. I want to understand investing. Tell it to teach you all that and have it create a plan, and then just follow the plan. You become the assistant. Let it become the boss, and you just work for it. GPT-4 is blowing my mind with code. I know it's pretty remarkable, and I don't even code. Using it, so we in my app we had this obscure bug. It was an edge case bug, and it was only on certain browsers, but we just couldn't find it. And then our developer finally just grabbed a pile of code, threw it into GPT-4, and said, "Can you find a bug here?" And he had 2 characters transposed. It found that. We untransposed them and assumed that wouldn't change anything, and it fixed the bug. It's amazing. I'm going to use it to write my report cards, make lessons, and assess. Yeah, teachers should use it too. Like the students shouldn't be the only ones allowed to cheat, right? Do you think Charles... That's pretty funny, the Charles Kamala joke. Pretty good. What human qualities do you think are irreplaceable by AI? Well, I think we're moving from an information age to a knowledge age, where large language models become knowledge on demand. I think the thing that remains human is wisdom. How do we use the tools? How do we determine what we want to do with them? How do we curate what's generated? How do we refine it? And how do we apply it? And how do we use these tools in a way that benefits us as a society rather than destroying it? Because we're doing a pretty fucking good job of destroying our society right now without AI. So maybe we could use AI to unfuck up what we fucked up for the past 20 years. So fucking bitter. Gen X, baby. I'm not bitter enough to get involved and run for office, but I'm good at shouting from the sidelines. Will future robots sing to their children? Old MacDonald had a farm. AIAIO. That's pretty good. Yes, they will. AI software developer. How can I make an impact on AI? Apply for a job at OpenAI. I mean, honestly, just go to GitHub. I mean, go play with AutoGPT. Go play with LangChain. Go play with Baby AGI. If you don't follow David Shapiro on YouTube, he's got a whole project where so David Shapiro's written a bunch of books on machine learning and AGI and all this stuff. He's brilliant dude. And he's got a project where you can contribute as a developer to his project, building an AI and an AGI system out of multiple systems. So I would say start developing, teach yourself all these tools, because all the documentation's there, and you can use Copilot on GitHub and ChatGPT to accelerate your learning, accelerate your development. I would dive in deep, quick, fast, now, go, and make shit better. Make AutoGPT not suck. Is Midjourney the best place for image making? Yeah, it's by far the highest quality images, in my opinion. Stable Diffusion's a close second, and Stable Diffusion is more flexible for sure, but it's more technical and it requires a bit more geeking out. Stability AI is a really interesting company, though. They keep open sourcing all of their models, I think because they know they're going to get their asses sued into oblivion and they might not exist. You mentioned Apple. What do you think they'll start with? What's the opening move? It's a great question. There could be an opening move could be around augmented reality. So they're launching their big goggles, which have been anticipated for 10 years? I think they're finally going to launch those goggles. I don't have high hopes for them, but I think they have to launch them because everyone's been waiting for them. So I think they could roll some large language model, kind of smart chat stuff into the augmented reality, where your augmented reality is like really, really smart and does really cool things. The other thing that is the thing that I think might have more impact is they could create AI agents that you deploy on your behalf. So think, the little characters that can talk like you, and there's like the unicorn. And so imagine if those didn't suck, right? And imagine if they weren't just puppets. And maybe it's the kind of thing where they make it really easy to make it kind of look like you, like this, the Kyle Shannon Dream stuff. Like, let me find a dude that kind of looks like me. Like, there's a in the rain. So imagine if I took like this stylized version of myself and I could turn that into an agent, but then that agent could go do stuff for me. It could go book movie tickets, and it could build me websites, and it could do things like that. So I could see them doing something around super easy to use agents that have deep AI stuff underneath them, but on the surface they're like these simple tools that just do cool shit for you. So maybe something with AR, maybe something with agents. Based on my experience since Steve Jobs died, probably nothing. I just hope it's not nothing. My AI from Snapchat is a favorite with kids because it's avatar based. What's another? I actually don't know. I heard that some of the Snapchat feedback was that people were hating it. The fact that it's a favorite with kids is interesting because it's avatar based. Yeah, I think the avatars are going to get really interesting. They're going to get really interesting. They're going to get really good. They're going to get really smart. And it's interesting. Like avatars are not going to start in the metaverse, right? It's not going to start like Zuckerberg, showed in the shitty videos, right? We're not going to go into a world and then represent ourselves as an avatar and stand around like awkward junior high students at the dance, which is what virtual reality is like now. I think we start out with these avatars as agents, right? So they're kind of independent, like little dudes that can show up in TikTok or show up in chats or things like that, and then eventually we'll migrate into 3D worlds. So I think we'll start using virtual agents and avatars soon. How can I make drone delivery business using geospatial and AI? What's the name of that drone business that Mark Roper just did a video on? Hang on a second. I mean, I know nothing about that world, but this company's fascinating. Mark Roper, drone. So this is the video. It's called "This Drone Will Change."
Taking lunch, so I placed her.
So the company is called. Hold. Why does he not have this in his? Hang on a second. Zipline. So there's go to YouTube, search for Mark Roper, Roper, or Rober, Rober, and then the video is called "This Drone Will Change Everything." It's a company called Zipline. Um, Really fascinating company, really fascinating tech. They're using AI. They're doing like real-time delivery of blood to hospitals, and this thing, so rather than the drone coming down and bringing the package down and like landing on your table and having like the blades cut your face off, it stays at 400 feet above its location, and then it uses a zip line. It drops like the basket down, but the basket has its own propellers, and it and it's like dinner plate sized accuracy. So they're delivering in real time like blood to hospitals. So a doctor will just say, I need O negative blood in these rural areas of Africa, and these drones just get shot out of these catapults. And so this is the video for it. This drone will change everything. So I would start with this just because I think it's quite remarkable, and then figure it out from there. I don't know enough about that world to give you any real advice other than here's a video. ChatGPT, tell me I'm not fat. I need that too. Like Google, you can use it for Google Docs. I'm incredibly likable and informative. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. Get on the wait list for the plugins. Yes, get on the wait list for ChatGPT plugins. They're going to be really cool. I've got access to the plugins, but I don't have any access to any of the ones that I want. So I'm cranky. We will all have our AI doctor that knows everything we do all day. I agree with that, and that's a good thing because they'll be more empathetic than current doctors, and they'll give us time and they'll give us answers. And when these things get, can validate answers and validate that it's actually good advice, it's going to get really interesting. I think AI is going to bridge the gap for people with disabilities. Totally agree with that. Their work can now be amazing. I totally agree with that. The AI tools are amplifiers, right? They're like brilliance amplifiers, and so you can take things that you're not good at, and it can be good at that for you, and all you have to have is the intention. So yeah, I think it's going to be remarkable for disabled people. How do I feel coders' careers will be impacted dramatically and fast? Start learning AI. Hello, what AI can I use to create an blank? I don't know. Oh wait, what AI can I use to create a baptism invite? Um, Go to Canva. Canva's got a bunch of AI tools. I don't know that you need AI for that. You can have ChatGPT write the copy and then go to Canva and just pick one of their designs. But Canva's got a bunch of generative AI stuff in it now, so I'd say just go play with Canva. Is ChatGPT usable in the restaurant business? ChatGPT is usable in every business. If so, give an example. Sure. How's your chef? Have it come up with new recipe ideas. Come up with a concept like Tuesday is I don't know, a particular thing like no chicken night. So tell it to come up with a menu for the kind of restaurant you are. Have it help you shop. Have it help you organize. Have it analyze your profitability and suggest ways to be more profitable and where you can save money. There's just an infinite number of ways that you can use it. I would say start with tell ChatGPT to act like an experienced, successful restaurateur, and you want it to give you advice on how to improve your restaurant. Have it do marketing, come up with a marketing plan for you. Have it come up with a word of mouth campaign for you. Literally any part of your business. Just start interacting with it. Pick a specific problem you have in your business. Work with ChatGPT to solve that. And then from there, the world will open up. Can I explain the prompts? Yeah, prompts are the whole thing. What I would say is this: go to prompts.chat, which takes you to this thing called chat. Will take you here. This top part of the document will teach you how to prompt, and then the whole thing is just a long series of prompts that will put ChatGPT in a specific kind of mode, like a personality that you can then interact with. That's a good way to start. You just kind of need to get curious about it and start playing. It's going to be interesting. Prompting in the next 2 years is probably not going to be as critical a skill because the machines are going to start prompting themselves. Like a lot of what we have to do now is going to drift into the background, and there's going to be a nice interface for it. We'll just click on shit, and it'll just automatically do stuff. But right now, you kind of need to understand prompting. So I'd say just start teaching yourself about it. You can also have ChatGPT teach you how to prompt, and it will. Students with learning disabilities can now write their ideas and make it amazing in seconds. I know, it's amazing. Can we rather have AI managers instead of replacing employees? Yeah, absolutely, right? And quite frankly, like I feel like anyone in a company who gets curious about AI can probably move up the ranks pretty quickly if they're not a jerk about it. Can I make AI modules that can make predictive maintenance for companies? I don't know what kind of maintenance, but probably there's a good buddy of mine that's part of the AI Salon just created an app called Maintenance Mentor that's like a series of experts that maintenance people can use to like troubleshoot, air conditioning issues or plumbing issues or electric issues. So I don't know if that's the kind of maintenance you're talking about, but yeah, you can absolutely start to do that. It'll require a little bit of programming. I mean, you can use no code tools like Zapier and some of those other tools, but can I make yeah. I just woke up at 7:30 a.m. in South Africa. Good morning, happy birthday. Thank you, Lindo. I appreciate it. I'm 48. I feel you. I'm 58. Come on, man. It's just awful. This aging thing. Don't do it. Don't do. That's my advice. Maybe I'll live long enough to AI will figure out the reverse aging thing. And I actually think that's a real possibility now. I didn't think that 6 months ago. I think educators who say it's plagiarism are wrong. The ideas are the students, the work is improved. Yeah, the educators that are embracing ChatGPT and finding and letting it disrupt how they've done things in the past and finding new ways to engage with students, those are the ones I'm really excited about. And there's a lot of them out there. It's cool. How do I feel the programming industry will be impacted? Profoundly, deeply. Go use GitHub Copilot if you haven't. Have it write you some documentation or refactor some code for you. I need to get back to written tests in school. That might be part of it. How can I get hooked up to Office email? Oh, how can I get AI hooked up to Office email? Just wait for 6 months. Microsoft will release it. I used to hate Apple. Now we love it. I used to love Apple. Now I hate it. I just hate that they don't innovate anymore and their products suck. Like their stuff just doesn't work good. It always used to just work. That was like one of the reasons I loved them, is that it was just always better. Now it's not. I'm a potter. I use AI for lots of other things. I think I'll always be able to make pots though. Experiment, Corey, with if you haven't played with Midjourney yet, experiment with creating pottery designs with Midjourney, with generative AI. You can sort of take your vague ideas of what you want to see visually, and the AI can really, really quickly spin up new concepts for you, some of which may inspire you to go in a different direction or an expanded direction for your pottery. So I think that could be really cool. Still going. I know I'm still going. I got to go to bed. It's ridiculous. It's midnight. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? I have important calls tomorrow. I lost my place in the thing, though. I'm going to go. I promise I am. Why are you all still here? Well, it's down to 61. We were 150 for a while. I think people are like, he just won't shut up. All right. I'm going to do a few more of these. ChatGPT Guru. Hey, you duetted one of my videos today. Thank you for that. ChatGPT and AI tools are simply just amazing. There are no words to describe what's happening. I totally agree. That was the first video I ever had duetted, by the way. That was pretty cool. Is duetted right when the two things are next to each other? That's duet, right? How do you teach an old guy TikTok? You don't. Get off here, you old man. How do you feel the career of coding will change? Again, deeply, profoundly. How long can proprietary data sets remain private before their data is mined by other AI? It's a good question. I mean, there's an argument to be had that just like internet should be a utility that is just everyone should have access to, there's an argument that if you take the concept of museums and universities where they are designed to house the output of humanity, there's an argument that you could make to say the ultimate role of these large language models and the image models should be to learn all of humanity, all of the output of humanity. And then we get to play with it. So I don't think it'll go there, but maybe in a 50-year time frame, you could get to a place where it's like, these machines are just, you have access to everything that ever was and ever will be and is ever happening right now. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but that's my adorable optimism version of the AI of the future. How do we use it to benefit us as a species? We don't hide from it, and jump in now and start using it to do good shit. And like, this doesn't have to be on a big scale. I mean, the impact of you taking the time to teach someone in your community about some cool thing you discovered that empowers them to do something else, like the butterfly effect of embracing this and evangelizing this with other human beings, will be the thing that will ultimately benefit us as a species, because good things done now are going to have a disproportionately amplified effect on the future of AI, and similar with bad things done now, because we're so early. All right, I'm getting tired. I'm going to burn. Some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community's experience. Hey, those of you saying nasty things, don't do that. TikTok's watching you, and it just told me it's watching you. Thoughts on AI crypto coins? I've heard AGIX at SingularityNet is good. I don't know. I stopped paying attention to Web3 stuff a year ago. When I got into AI, I kind of let that stuff drift to the background, and I'm really happy I did. Is there a place for AI startup ideas, like a Kickstarter for AI? Yeah, yes. Just go start a business. Have AI help you start that business. If you're starting a business, check out GPT Boss, Mackenzie Bose's startup, where you can hire virtual employees that help you start your business. How do I feel the career of coding will change? Is this live or pre-recorded? Why would I record this? This is not something that should ever be recorded. Canva's not the greatest AI in AI yet. Yeah, I know. But it's fast. Is there a free version of Midjourney? You can do a handful of images before they start charging you. But like the one I pay for is the $10 a month one. And I use it a fair amount, and I don't hit my top. If you're going to do it a lot, you might have to do the more expensive one. But $10 isn't bad for Midjourney, because it's remarkable. Are fears of AI reasonable? I think fears of AI are healthy. I think unreasonable fear of AI is unreasonable. The robots are going to kill us narrative has got to go. We need to get involved so that the robots don't kill us. What is Web3? I never figured it out. So Web3 is what they're talking about with blockchain, like blockchain-enabled stuff, and distributed finance, and trustless systems like NFTs, where you can prove that the NFT is yours because it's written to the blockchain and things like that. So it's basically a a trackable and autonomous web where you can create things like DAOs, which stand for decentralized autonomous organizations, where you can basically write the rules of a company, and then people can join that company and they can put money into that company, and the rules of how that company runs and how people get paid and how people pay into it is all automated. So you don't have human beings arbitrarily changing the rules. When you create a DAO, for example, the rules are written into stone, they're written into the blockchain, it's verifiable by other people. So they're called trustless systems, which always seems counterintuitive to me because you can trust them more because you're not actually trusting a human being. so Web3 is just basically, NFTs, blockchain, and all the things that come with those technologies. They're really interesting technologies. Unfortunately, sort of the crypto bro crowd created a bunch of companies that were cash grabs and were kind of bullshit and scammy, and then some of the big exchanges like FTX did shitty, scammy stuff. And so the Web3 world needs to go sit in the corner for 3 years while they get spanked. and then, I think the technology is actually really important. It's going to be valuable for AI, and I think AI is going to drive it. So anyway, where did I get that avatar? I made these avatars in Stable Diffusion using Dream Booth, where I can upload pictures of myself and it kind of learns what I look like, and I can make like little dudes, little versions. It's kind of cute. It doesn't look dissimilar to how I looked when I was a kid. That's see, if I did twerking on here, that's the outfit that I would wear. I think maybe that's I've been doing this for 14 hours. So thank you all for your time. Hope this was enjoyable. I didn't cuss too much, which I apparently did, but what are you going to do? All right. Peace.